And of course, because it's a live show, the dog is acting up. That's what she does. Come here. Come here. Come here. My apologies. Hold on. Y'all know Roxy. She likes to cut up. She likes to act up. She's being a little iffy today. Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is Weigh In Wednesdays. What is going on? I am your host. I am Sam. We are Grown A Geeks. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for joining in. You know what we do? It's Wednesday. We're going to weigh in. We're going to talk about some things. A couple of things I know we're going to discuss. We have to talk about Kenobi, the Star Wars episode series, the new Star Wars series focusing on Obi-Wan Kenobi and everything that he's doing. Three episodes have been released. I've seen the first two. I did not watch the third episode. I was not aware that it was out. And I would talk with someone earlier, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm about to watch the third episode of Kenobi now." And I was like, oh, "There's a new episode," but then I had class, and now I'm out of class, and we're here, so I'll probably watch the third episode later on tonight. Also, kind of wanted to talk about, yeah, Rock Dog. She's it's my little princess. But we will also probably talk about there's some new stuff in gaming. The Pokemon world doing a lot of big things. They've got some stuff happening. We're gonna get into that. I wanted to touch on the where is it? I had it here a moment ago. There is a brand new see, this is why you have to have hey, don't you cut up. Don't do it. Just yelling at the dog like she's a person. She understands. She knows what I mean. She knows. She understood. Um, I had like all this stuff laid out. We're going to talk about this and this and this. And of course, I get on the live show and I don't have my notes with me because I was in class and didn't have my notes. We've got one of our favorite co-hosts is here and he's about to hop in. He's in the green room. He'll give me a thumbs up whenever he's ready to jump in. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome to the stream. Hi, what's going on, man?
What's up, everybody?
How are you doing today?
I am tired. Oh my goodness.
Tired. I can relate. I understand. I know that feeling. I think Jeff will be joining us here. Jeffrey Taylor will be joining us here in just a little bit.
I know you didn't have your notes, so to help you out, we're going to cover Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, got that.
We're going to talk the new and improved CGI for She-Hulk.
There it is. That was it.
We have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yes, new announcement, new trainers, and new professors.
New professors, yeah.
New professors, and I cannot wait for Linda to get on. She has some thoughts and things to say about the new professors, and I didn't know that was a whole thing, but apparently that is a whole thing. So I'm gonna.
Well, did you get a chance to look at the trailer I sent you for Power World?
I did not. I saw it, I clicked it, and I was still in class at the time, so I hadn't reviewed it. So I'll pull it up here in a moment, and I'll skim through it.
Yeah, the premise is it's Pokemon with guns, right?
I might be playing a Pokemon game. I think you had me at with guns. That might be. That's sounding very interesting already. Just because. Okay, so run. You know what? Let's start there. Run through that. And tell me about this new Pokemon. What is that?
So this was their official trailer, and so I don't really know too much about the world because I've never seen this game before. But the trailer depicts a open world first person shooter. But you have Pokemon that help you with the shooting. So you might have Pokemon that are launching grenades, or you might have a Pokemon that has a machine gun that's shooting with you, or you might have a bigger Pokemon that has like a minigun, like it's
like the Pokemon with the 4 arms. Was it Machamp? Have him.
So it's not the actual Pokemon. It's just Pokemon like monsters.
Okay, so these are like particular. Okay, so the theme is Pokemon-esque, but not actual.
Yeah, it's not an actual Pokemon licensed game.
Okay, no, I'm good with that. That would raise some questions. I could see Pikachu with a Glock. I'm just saying, like I could definitely see it. We're gonna put the link up in the comments so anybody that wants to hop in, because I know we like to have, we like engagement. We like people being here with us, and I feel obligated to say I'm very curious about this game. Like, I want to know more about this game. I wish we were at a somebody wants to sponsor us, give us some actual licensing and that kind of thing. That would be fantastic. Help us out by clicking that QR code over in the corner right there above Ty. If you click that QR code, give us a like, give us a follow. You'll be notified when we do these types of things. We are currently live right now on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And so the more likes and shares that we get, the more people who jump in and become a part of this, the more likely companies are to say, here's some money, go learn about stuff. And I can do this all day long. And Ty can quit his job and help me out with this. We can play video games and call people bitches and enjoy it. So I cannot wait, by the way, to be a part of the Whiskalodian podcast. I just need to know. I will probably have to do remote, but I have no problem making whatever drink you tell me I have to make. I will go shopping specifically for it, and we will have it. We've got another one of our mods is ready to hop in. He'll give me a thumbs up. He's in the green room. He's bouncing around, so I want to make sure he's stable. If he gives me that, and now he's gone, so he'll give me another thumbs up when he's good. But right, being 13 again. That's so what we're looking forward to.
All right, I just put the link in the chat.
Very cool. All right, so we will be sure to check that link out, see what that's about. You can find it. And what was the name of the game again?
Pal World. So
Palworld.
PALWORD.
Pal World. Kind of works for Pokemon with guns and that sort of thing. David, what's going on, man?
What's going on? How y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good. Can't complain. We are here for Weigh-In Wednesdays. And what is your take on that? How do you feel about the let me move that out the way so we can be seen. What do you think of the a Pokemon-esque game with little people helping you, little monsters helping you shoot?
I could deal with that. I was never really into the whole Pokemon thing.
Yeah, it kind of.
At the time of Pokemon, I was doing Magic the Gathering.
Legends of the Five Rings.
So I never got into it, but the idea of Pokemon with guns is kind of cool.
Right.
If we took out the audio or muted the audio, could we show it in the group so that you guys can actually see what I'm talking about? Because I feel like you get the concept.
We could definitely try. And typically we've got one more joining us. Give me that thumbs up if you're good to go. All righty. We've got Miller, Jeff Miller.
What's up,
buddy?
What's going on, Jeff?
Not much.
Let me do this. Let me find. Actually, I've got the link here. You sent it to me, so let me just do that. And I will attempt. And we will put a timestamp on it because I do know that sometimes with a let me mute. Sometimes when it
he's moving around a lot more than I was.
But your screen was bouncing. Him moving inside the screen is different. I don't want anybody to get that weird feeling. Okay, so I'm going to share, and somebody just type a comment in so I have a timestamp.
Done.
Boom. Okay. And so now the very first thing that came to mind when you said like Pokemon with guns, I thought about Phantasy Star Online and the little familiar things that you can have. And when you shoot, like one of them will heal you, the other one can shoot. And Oh no, that's absolutely Pokemon. He just threw
Yeah.
a ball at it and caught it. Okay,
I'm liking the
we
graphic.
have Pokemon at home. That's what this is. You just got your Pokemon off Wish,
Yes.
but it's okay because they're like high quality Pokemon. Oh yeah, he's strapped. What?
Right?
Oh yeah, this has
Oh, wow.
oh no, you can't capture it. Oh, and you're experimenting. So that looks like a hybrid of a couple of Pokemons right there. And you're telling me that right there is not a Pokemon. That is absolutely a Pokemon.
No, it's not Pokemon. It's Wish.com Pokemon. Or actually, what's like Wish but with better quality?
Geek.com.
Amazon.
Yeah, this is nothing more than great value. That's great. That's great value Pokemon. Power World.
That's great value if you're in Georgia or Texas.
Right. That is great value Pokemon. That is all that is. And you know what? That's not bad. That is not a bad thing. That actually seems quite intriguing, and I would be curious to see how that plays. Even if it does look a little cartoonish, just the fact that there's guns indicates the story has to be slightly more mature because there's going to be some violence there. So we should have like a mid-teen rate, like a teen rating at worst, M rating at best, and that could be a very unique thing. So, real quick, while I've got everybody here, I watched Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore, and let me say that. Go ahead. Yes.
Believe it or not, I have not seen it.
Let me tell you something.
We'll get into that.
We can absolutely. We got one more. Give me that thumbs up if you're ready. He's still making adjustments.
Oh, we're in a packed house.
I mean, we got a packed house. That's a good thing. So everybody share this link on your individual pages. Let's get some people in here watching the show. Let's get it filled up as well. So just grab one of the links here. Take this link, the StreamYard link, and there you go. And let everybody know so all of your friends can see what we're doing. Nope, not what I wanted to do.
I mean, you are the host.
Right. I wanted to now see if it was like Discord where if it just jumped to whoever was talking, that'd be kind of cool. I don't have to manually do it. So that's why I just keep everybody kind of the same so that nobody feels like, oh, and honestly, I want the important people speaking to be the ones. I'm just here. I'm just the facilitator.
We all know you more special than us.
No. I am merely the facilitator, nothing more.
You are the elder geek.
I am. But you know what, Jeff? I mean, I'm not saying nothing, but I'm saying something like.
You're right.
I think
we're about the same age, bro.
We're close, but you're still older. We're very close, but we're
maybe age-wise, not maturity-wise, for sure.
No, I'm definitely old as hell as far as maturity. Like that's I have, yeah. I think that's why no one knows that I'm really not as old as it seems like I am.
You're talking to someone that bought cereal, bought milk, who has not had either one in his house, and sat down and watched He-Man on a Saturday morning when it came out.
That sounds like life goals. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that does sound amazing.
That is the whole plan.
It was epic. I binged the whole thing that morning, sat there and ate cereal. So, yeah.
See, the fact that you are in position to do that is how you were supposed to. My green room, when you are ready, thumbs up and okay. Oh, there we go. We are going to bring because I'm curious. I don't know how 5 will be, and I know we still got other people. Let me bring in Jeffrey.
There he is.
So we got Jeff and Jeffrey, Ty and David. This is what I'm talking about. Let me put this on my group. Go ahead. What you got?
Your hat just reminded me of something.
What's that?
Somebody made you something.
Oh, that's it. That is a
lighter?
leather holster for my Zippo. Do know that I bought fluid yesterday.
Oh, wow.
That is awesome. And it's the Kingdom Come logo. Thank her for me. Thank her for me.
He says thank you.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
very much. That is amazing. That is amazing. Whenever you open your Etsy store, we'll bring you on as a guest and let you do your Etsy store. And if we can ever get South Down Leatherworks to have an Etsy store, we'll make that pop off as well. And I understand also we're probably going to have some stained glass. Are we looking at a stained glass store?
Yeah, eventually. My brother's got some stuff going on too with the labels and like t-shirts and stuff. I'll have to get the address from him, like, because I plan on putting a couple things on there first.
That'll work.
So,
Like he makes T-shirts and labels and stuff like that.
he does a lot of geek related labels and with the pre-cut machine or whatever, like the.
Mm-hmm.
And then his wife is working in resin. He's got some place that drop ships T-shirts. He comes up with how they're designed and he puts them on his store. And then you order from him and they send it to him straight from there or whatever. Like
Okay.
Joe's got some stuff going on.
That's what's up. That is
So-
what's up.
They do a lot of festivals in my town up here in Tennessee. And we already said that this time next year we want to have a booth. So with his stuff, her stuff, my stuff. So
You want to show the other one before you get started?
I mean,
Part of
there's a big
Oh,
geek population up here. CM Games has got
what
some
other one? Oh,
the life-size statue of Halo, a life-size statue of Batman. I geeked out when I first got up here.
I
thought you were
remember
talking
just some of the stuff you were sending me.
Oh yeah. So
Some of the content you were sending me.
it still comes up in my memories, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So,
Okay, so the very first thing, let's get into it. Jeff, talk to. Well, let's see. I have to be specific this time. So I'm going to say Miller, and I'm going to say Taylor. That way we don't have any confusion. Although typically in my head it's Jeffrey and Jeff, and that's how I've been doing it. So we'll keep it very simple. I'm going to move David, and there we go. We'll just switch it so we've got a little balance on the screen there. I don't know. Did that change that for everybody else as well? Did it? I didn't know if it changed on everyone else's screen. I changed it.
yeah.
It
Okay.
changed.
Okay, just there we go. Now everybody, I can see. All right, Taylor, you're newest to the stream. Anything you wanna jump in? Where would you like to start? Did you have anything specific?
I mean, I kind of lost it earlier today on another stream about the racist Star Wars quote unquote fans.
Oh my gosh.
We were talking about soccer, and then I actually was like plugging the channel, like I was like ending my like call. I was plugging the channel, and I was just telling him like what we talked about, and then in the middle of it, he was like, "Oh, like what do you think about the like Star Wars stuff?" And I just like snapped, and then it was funny. I'll clip it up.
Now.
I'll clip it up and put it in the group probably tomorrow.
Yeah, I wanna see that. Just because I want to see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm good with it, and we will keep it somewhat spoiler free. There are 3 episodes currently. I've watched 2 episodes, and for anyone who hasn't watched any episodes, we'll just try to avoid any heavy spoilers. I don't really think there's anything in this that is spoilery for the first 2 episodes because it's kind of an introduction, and just the basic concept of the show by itself is spoiler. I think it's really not until you get to the end of 2 that you could even say there's true spoiler material.
I can't wait for you to watch episode 3, man.
Oh yeah, I can already tell. I can already tell.
I kind of feel like I failed because I didn't realize there was even a 3rd episode.
I've just found out when Ty told me he was watching the 3rd episode. I was
they
like,
come out every Wednesday, right?
I saw that today.
So I missed out on last week's Way in Wednesday, and so for some reason I thought the Kenobi episodes came out like on Thursday or something like that. Like, did you guys talk about Kenobi at all last week?
Not because it had not aired yet. It had not
okay,
aired.
so yeah, so it came out on Thursday then. So
Right.
I was expecting it on Thursday, and then someone was like, "Oh hey, here's my review of episode 3." I was like, "The fuck you get that so early?" And no, it's now releasing every Wednesday, and holy
Every
shit.
Wednesday. And the first 2 episodes that released, I got the only thing, I think if I have one complaint, the only complaint that I would have with this is I need John Williams' original Star Wars score for this show. I feel like this show deserves the original Star Wars music. I understand that they're trying to make everything like The Mandalorian having its own music. I get that. Book of Boba Fett having its own music. I get that. But as much as I know Taylor hates this, we're back to the core characters. We're back to what is Star Wars and what has been Star Wars for the longest time. And I just feel like even having John Williams compose this new music was fantastic, and you can feel in it carries it. But when I saw that opening, I expected a full title crawl. I didn't get that, and I was just like, kind of, why didn't we do that there? That would have been the spot to do it, and they didn't do it, and I was disappointed. I loved everything else that I saw.
Okay.
Just because
I thought you were going a different direction with the music, but I can kind
of see that. But I did love the recap. I thought the recap was really well done because I have not watched the movies in a while.
It was like the recap was just the good bits. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the cliff notes of the original trilogy.
It made me want to rewatch the trilogy.
It was Star Wars letting us know, we know you guys don't want to watch all this shit again. So like, here's what you need to know. Like
3 movies.
Your wife's not gonna watch these movies. She's not gonna watch this show if you make her watch these movies. So let's just like give you the bits that you need, and let's be on our way. Let's
get into this new thing. I mean, it was 3 movies in like 6 minutes, and it was like, wow, okay. And I don't feel like they left out anything. They didn't leave out anything important, and I was able to quickly answer. I was like, okay, could I answer that? I could quickly answer any question anybody had in a short amount of time. I would not have had to, okay. You know, you wouldn't have had to get like set up to explain this whole movie to talk about the death of Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn. Like, you could see that scene right there. Okay, that was the master. That was the apprentice. That guy, those 2 were fighting. He killed him, and then he killed him. That's his master dying. And then the promise he makes right there. There you go. That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need. And we're back to current. And I think that was a fantastic opening intro, a good way to set up. And I was very pleased with that. I like the casting. There were a lot of good points from the first episode. Leia's adorable. I can't wait to see more about Luke. Although Leia's kind of bad. Like, somebody need to whoop her ass. And you know you need to ground the princess.
Leia's bad as fuck, bro.
Right?
The princess got everyone wrapped around her finger. That's why she becomes a senator.
But I can see that child becoming that senator, though.
Yeah.
And I get that part of it. Like, they're trying to show us
parenting side. You're like, if my kid did that,
right. I told you not to. Like, you don't get.
Rich kids have a different man. I just gotta tell you.
Well, then the maid need to be whooped. Somebody need to get his ass whooping to make sure that type of stuff don't happen. We wouldn't even have episode 2 if it weren't for that.
I mean, here's the thing, though. if Odin had done that, we wouldn't have had Thor.
True, but you know what? Thor
fucked a lot of shit up too.
I was about to say, but
exactly. Thor never had that firm hand.
The whole planet blew up.
Yeah.
Granted.
But see, Thor was also cast, stripped of everything, broken all the way down. That was a serious ass whooping Thor took when he was stuck on Midgard. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was here and had to learn basically humility and everything in order to become worthy to be Thor again. That was him getting his ass beat. Hopefully after these events, Leia will be like, okay, maybe I should listen to my parents a little more, and then shit wouldn't happen. But, you know, at the same time, she's a princess. So, I mean, there's always the threat. But why are we just letting the princess run around by herself?
They're not.
Where's her guards?
She's just rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her parents are just like, we don't want to like make her feel like a prisoner in her own home, but like maybe you should, because she's running all over the place. But I mean, these are the seeds being planted for her to like stand up against the Empire and become the leader of the rebels, because she's seeing like this is her first time really seeing like what's going on in the streets.
And it has to happen the way it's happening and can't happen any other way. But still,
I would say too, like I know I'm very against, like, you know, the Star Wars episode of Therapy is coming out tomorrow, where it will just reconfirm that I'm very against like the way Star Wars just keeps going back. But I will say I am like enjoying like this exploration of Leia up close as a child. I think like if you're going to do some retcon on a character, and like I think this is how you do it. Like this, it's like literally the opposite of what they did with Boba Fett, where it's like you're showing us some old washed up version, as opposed to like showing us the version that's like, how did he become
on the rise,
the greatest bounty hunter ever?
Right.
I saw nobody get disintegrated, and I'm a little disappointed by that. You know, like they should have done at least one or two of his flashbacks should have been
him actually bounty hunting.
The events prior to him ending up in the Sarlacc pit, when he was just out doing his thing, when he was just out, like you said, being a bounty hunter, and have some flashbacks and some memories of some times when life was good and you were the top man in the bounty hunting game.
I mean, reality is though, Mandalorian stole his swag.
That's what the Mandalorian. If they do just like a job a week with the Mandalorian, you could kind of do that indefinitely, and we'll keep watching it, gobbling it up, because it's great. It's great. That formula works very well for the Mandalorian. You could have easily slipped in with a very similar formula, and even if you wanted to do the flashback thematic build up and character growth arc with Boba Fett, you do it by using specific jobs as examples of why he wants to see something change. Let him go do this job, but feel some kind of way about it. But he's a great bounty hunter. Nobody sees the pain in his face. Now we get to see that ultimately all this man ever really wanted was a life, was a family, was this, that, or the other. And when he finally gets that, it gets taken away. Now he wants to be the kingpin. None of that. What? So, but we're here to talk about Kenobi, not the train wreck that was Boba Fett. So, coming back, Jeff Miller, you got a what's up?
No, I just wanted to say I thought Alderaan was beautiful. It was nice to see like what it looked like and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
I sure hope nothing happens to it.
It was very nice to see it as a whole.
Right.
But also, it was like y'all got it good.
Yeah.
Y'all got a little better than what we seeing on Tatooine.
This is true. This is true.
So,
I mean, go ahead.
If you guys got something else you want to say, because I want to dive into Reva and the Inquisitors.
Okay.
Yes, we can jump right. I think the last ultimate point I want to make about the series as a whole. It's really weird to watch shows like this that are kind of close-ended, but I'm learning to be a little bit more open-minded, because when I initially saw Rogue One, I was thinking to myself, like, well, we already know how this is going to end, but it didn't stop it from being a fantastic movie.
Fantastic.
And a fantastic version of the events you know about, but you don't really know about them. And I know at some point, old Ben is going to become known to this random whiny kid, Skywalker. And he's like, shooting, he's got his little skyhopper and he's like shooting womp rats and stuff, like, like he's got this very plain life, but he knows that there's this weird guy named Old Ben. I know where we're going to end up, but I am definitely much more open to see the journey to get there. And the first 2 episodes I've seen have set up an interest in taking that journey.
Episode 3 will not disappoint then.
primarily because talk about these Inquisitors, Ty.
So I gotta admit, I fucking loved Reva. I think Moses Ingram is doing a fantastic job. So when I heard that people were like not for it, I was like, why? Like if anyone should complain, it was the Grand Inquisitor. He's not menacing. Like he's not. I don't know why he got the job.
Seniority. I feel like the Sith are a union-based organization. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Too.
it's like military base. You know what I mean? There's ranks.
somebody's
Find a way
nephew.
through the ranks.
So I guess I should rephrase. I don't know why that actor got the job of the Grand Inquisitor because like the Grand Inquisitor in was it Rebels? Star Wars Rebels, fantastic. But this guy, it's just like I don't. No wonder Reva does not respect him. I don't know who would. Except for the brown-nosing fourth brother, whatever his name is.
Fifth brother. But at the same time, it's one important distinction for Inquisitors is that Inquisitors are trained in the use of Sith abilities, Sith tactics, if you will, but they themselves are not Sith.
Right.
And
they're Sith sensitive.
They are Sith sensitive. Yeah, I mean, and in a sense, that's what it is. Like they believe in the cause, but they're getting 1099s. They're not in house. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
They're contractors. Yeah.
And if they were in house, if they were actual Sith, well, first of all, that would violate the rule of two because there could only be a master and an apprentice. So that's kind of what the thing is. And for the duration of like ever that we know for Star Wars, it was Sidious and Vader. That was our two.
Right.
And because it was the Emperor and Vader. So that was always the master, and Vader's remained the apprentice throughout. So there was never room for another apprentice. That didn't
stop master and commander.
That never stopped him from going out and stretching out his power and doing the things that he did through various books, games, medias, and things like that. There's plenty out there to explore to see all the stuff that Vader did. But the Inquisitors were designed specifically with the purpose of hunting and capturing Jedi. So when we get to see the first Inquisitors, we see that they are coming after a Jedi. And I was really curious, having seen the interactions Obi-Wan had where like the guy's not getting his money and Obi-Wan wants to react. And then, that separate scene in the bar where he's like, the saloon owner is getting attacked and the Jedi. I need more Jedi to be like Obi-Wan, because if y'all was all just like that good, y'all wouldn't be in hiding like that. Y'all would be dead because you'd be constantly trying to fight back. So it's like, if it's always just run, survive, stop getting involved. Stop jumping in. I mean, I'm trying to remember I don't even remember if it was on Way in Wednesday we talked about it. And it was like, you can't always jump in and be the hero. Because if you get involved in the wrong situation and now that's your ass that's dead.
How much help are you now?
Right. You definitely not helping. But given that the Inquisitors, they have free reign to do what they please, no one's gonna, they're separate, like secret police kind of thing. And it was definitely giving off some I don't know if this was intentional, but this definitely gave off some SS command kind of thing where they're coming in. I know that you've been hiding them, so it's like the Jedi sympathizers. If y'all can see where I'm going, I don't want to. Make sure all the right communities.
The Empire was based off of Nazi Germany. I mean, they had that, so that had to been intentional to keep it going.
And Cold War Russia.
Yeah, that too.
So I mean, a lot of this is the symbolism is clearly there, and so it's like you're waiting for those moments and those opportunities. I certainly think that Reva as a character, I look forward to seeing her journey. And ultimately, I feel like just from the first two episodes, unless I am going to see something in this third, I kind of wait to see her redemption arc.
No,
I
she
believe
stole the show for me because she was so bad. It makes me wonder what the Jedi did to her or what happened in her past that made her turn. I want to see that. I don't want to see her redeemed. I want to see her.
I do want to see that, but it's like I don't think she's like that bad. She's just that devoted. She's that intense. Like she's not just killing
I have a
left and
theory.
right. Give me your theory.
I know who she is.
It's Obi-Wan's daughter.
She's definitely not.
I know.
She don't have the right curl pattern for intergalactic swirl.
I'm making fun of the whole Rey theory that they had.
I was always aiming for Rey to be Obi-Wan's granddaughter. I thought that would have been fantastic, but they didn't go that route. Anyway, what's your theory? I'm not even getting down.
She's one of the kids. She's one of the kids from when Anakin went up in there and started killing all the kids.
And the 5 that ran.
I think that opening the opening sequence where we see the younglings.
And I think her gripe is she know Obi-Wan trained. She know Obi-Wan trained Anakin. Maybe she like Mace Windu daughter or something. And they was like, we told him not to train the boy.
Okay.
Now my daddy's dead, and I can't find his purple lightsaber. So I'm like, yeah. Because you saying that they're not supposed to be like, they're supposed to basically just be like force sensitive. There's like a line where one of them is like you know what you are. And now that you said that, it kind of makes it seem like she's something that they would consider beneath them. And what would that be? Or something that would make them consider her not right for the position. So,
well, some of the Inquisitors were former Jedi who have been turned. And that's why, admittedly, in most cases, they don't just run up and kill them right away. Like now that they're at the point of the Inquisitors, like Order 66, that was when they wiped out a majority of the Jedi. The ones who remained that were in hiding, they were seeking them. They were trying to track them down. A lot of the children, force-sensitive children and things like that. That's what the holocrons were. They had a list of all the force-sensitive children, that sort of thing. There's a couple of different ways to get the canon story, but since we have Fifth Brother and the Inquisitor, that makes, I mean, it was already canon, but that makes Cal Kestis and the last Star Wars game, Jedi Outcast. Was that Jedi Outcast? I don't think that was Outcast. That doesn't sound right.
See, this is Star Wars problem, man.
Jedi
They got too much shit.
Fallen Order. Thank you.
They got too much stuff where it's like, okay, well, if you do that, that means this is canon, this is canon, this is canon, and now everybody's like, so where is all of that? And it's like nothing gets a chance to like it's like they had so much other media driving it for so long that now the cart is like pulling the horse sometimes, I think.
Well, in this particular case, the point I was going to make was just that it includes the tie-in between like having some of the different Inquisitors, because when you play Fallen Order, you come across a lot of different Inquisitors as they are hunting down a Jedi. At the time, technically, he's an apprentice, but he gets to train up under yet another master, and therefore he gets the title himself of Jedi Master. He then goes on to do some interesting and wonderful things in the game. Go play Fallen Order. They've got a sequel that was just announced. We'll get to that bit. But the Inquisitors, some of them were in fact Jedi. So it's not that they're just force sensitive. Some of them have full control of their force powers. And we got to see some force parkour when Reva, in I think it was the second episode, Reva's on this planet and she's like running, and it's like they could touch up the special effects and the stunts a little bit more, because these are supposed to be some real badasses. Let's make that sequence look a little cooler. But it was her doing it, so I was okay with it. The actress she was the one actually doing it, and it looked, all in all, it looked good, and you kind of get an idea there's some real force powers.
I will say during that scene, what I wish would have happened, what have made it even better for me, is like Obi-Wan had gone on about how he can't use the Force because people will detect him, and so when he finally does, I was hoping that someone would just turn, oh, found him. Like I just wish that would have been sensed instantly, because it would have made more sense of why he was hiding his powers.
Right, like just showing that connection to the Force.
Yeah.
And having disconnected for the last 10 years, they were very clear about that. Having disconnected from the Force for the last 10 years, and obviously he hasn't been using his Force powers. But then I was kind of thinking like, well, no, he still got the Force. You know how I know he still got the Force? Because he ran out into the middle of the desert and there wasn't no marker. There was no, like, he had to line up a piece of paper. He didn't have to like turn the hilt of a dagger to find it. That man walked into the middle of the desert, stooped down, took a shovel, and dug up a box. You know how big that area is?
It's a very big area.
So for him to walk right to, he was still in tune and knew where it was. Because I even and I went back and looked because I was like, am I tripping? Did I see that? He gets off the little space camel and Eopoli or whatever. He gets off the little space camel and he like takes a step forward. He stops. He kind of looks around. And then he like looks down and drops to his knees right there. He had to find them. And that was some Force sensitivity right there. And it had to be because it's the only thing that makes sense. And this is just trying to be discerning because I'm like, bro, how you just, it wasn't like it was under the third tree. He didn't give Red instructions to tell him find a big oak tree by the wall and dig at the bottom and there's the box. He just was in the desert, got off and kneeled down and dug up 2 lightsabers.
But at that point, he was far away from everyone. But when he's in the city, that's where, like, it's like, if he would have, I don't know, man. That's what have made it fully complete for me.
And I think that it would have been really nice to see like 1 or 2 Jedi mind trick moments. And the fact that when we first saw him, he pulled out a blaster. I was like, wait, not a blaster? Obi-Wan with a blaster? Come on.
How uncivilized.
Right. And so I've understood everything they were doing. And even when he had the opportunity and you thought that he was about to pull out the lightsaber, he doesn't. He's still kind of like you can tell he is not the man he was. There is that complete lack of confidence, and he is not trying to be General Kenobi anymore. And I think if he was to see certain people, he would just shit his pants and be an embarrassment. And I think Ewan McGregor is doing a fantastic characterization of the character that he helped to really establish. So I don't think anyone else knows the character quite as well as him. And he's doing a fantastic job, and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing.
I mean, he's played the character the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think
and that's
I
what
would
I'm
be
saying.
as interested to see Kenobi if they had cast someone else.
I probably wouldn't have. Well, I'd have watched it, but I would have not been happy about it.
I wouldn't have been as
been
interested, though.
I don't even. It would have been disappointing. You really couldn't do a show like Kenobi without. Yeah, it would.
I mean, they even got Luke's uncle back, didn't they? Wasn't that the same guy?
Yeah,
Lars.
That's what I thought. Like, I was extremely happy with the casting overall in the first 2 episodes I've seen. So when I get off of here tonight, I will watch episode 3 before I go to bed.
Yeah, episode 3 is on deck, so we'll be checking that out. Taylor, I like your theory. I'm 100% behind that. I support that. I do believe she is one of the children that was at the opening sequence of the show, and that was kind of like just boom. This is okay. This is the pace we starting at. Let's go. All right, we coming right in on Order 66. David, what you got?
My question on that though is how old were those kids?
Well, it's only been from the time that event took place, only 10 years have passed.
Right.
If you rewatch just the opening segment where the younglings who are being protected by the female Jedi. They're running away. She gets taken down. It's just them. And they're like, what do we do now? And one of them's like, we run. There was a little girl who very well could be a 9 or 10-year-old Reva. If we are supposed to believe that Leia is 10 years old, I know 10-year-olds. There were a bunch of scenes where that looked like a little person. I'm just, and I don't know if that was just the camera angles or just the way she's built. She's so adorable, but that's like a 15-year-old child pretending to be 10. Because she is very mature, she kind of gives me that Dakota Fanning vibes where it's like, are you really that young?
Are
Like,
you immortal?
Right. Like, you gotta be older than that. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
And so this is, given that this is only supposed to be 10 years later, if that was a 10-year-old Reva on Coruscant, this would now be a 20-year-old Reva on Tatooine. And the timeline fits, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and if you're saying that those kids were possibly in that 8 to 10 age range, I can buy that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking the younglings were younger than that.
Well, in most cases, I guess.
I think that iconic image from the episode 3 with Anakin standing in front of that little kid with the lightsaber, I think he was like 5 or 6. And I think that's why everybody assumes it was just like super young kids. But I think they had kids of all ages at the school. So really, like, it could have been.
Most of them actually, like, from birth were brought in and raised as Jedi. And even Anakin, when he came in, was considered older because he would be starting fresh. He had done no training prior to that. And so those kids who were there, if you think about it, they already had on the little helmets. They were going to be the helmets that had the little blast shields that come down to cover their faces. And they were right at the point where they would have been doing lightsaber deflecting training. I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing you don't start lightsaber training until around 10. Like, I would even be curious. I may have to hit Brent up just to find out, like, at what age do younglings start lightsaber training? That might be a Google thing.
Whatever the training was, they need a new training session because it did not work.
But you know what? The order as a whole had a flaw, and they kind of came to understand that too little, too late. But that was there.
Between the ages of 4 and 8, younglings acquired the basic skills of lightsaber combat using low-powered training sabers to practice the deflection of blaster shots fired by training droids.
So they were already handling lightsabers, but only defensive techniques. Right. So they were learning how to defend themselves. They were not learning all the attack capabilities and stuff like that. So that probably didn't come until later, which might be why she's so aggressive now, because first time she put there we go. Somebody provided an answer, and it says according to Google University, the age of 7. So at the age of 7, she seems older than 17. I'm gonna put her at 20.
I was gonna say 25 is what she looked like to me, but I can take 20.
And even 20 might be old, like,
Man, don't nobody really know how old any black woman is unless you see.
That's why I said that might be.
I'll just say it.
We gotta take into consideration we're in a fucking different universe. Maybe aging up works differently.
Yeah,
maybe. Black still don't crack.
But as I say, but Lando has shown us that space melanin is something different.
I mean,
you got less gravity to deal with on top of the melanin. Like, woo.
If you look at how Obi-Wan aged between this show and the first movie.
Well, he was also
like they hit a cliff.
I mean,
he
He was
in a
exposed to the elements on Tatooine. That's the explanation right
Very
there.
heavy.
He had no lotion, man. He dried up like a
Yeah,
plant.
yeah. He could not moisturize at
He
all.
need to get on the Boba Fett plan.
Get
That
him a
boy
back to
came out
tank.
re-moisturized.
Get him a back to tank. That's all he needs. Yeah, I'm okay. So far, Kenobi. I was gonna be in. Kenobi is like without a doubt one of my probably my favorite character in all of Star Wars. As far as definitely like from the movies and shows and things like that. In the games, Kyle Katarn, he's pretty dope. And from Jedi Outcast, the characters that we have in Jedi Outcast, and of course, you know, there's some other like those gray Jedi types, Ahsoka, and you know what I'm saying, like some of those one-off Jedis that you get from
How could
just
you
the
leave
different
Shadows of the
fictions.
Empire on N64 out? I mean, come on, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. I mean, it's there are. I don't know. I would still
There are
say that
several good games.
the Jedi Knight and Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight 2, the character Kyle Katarn is without a doubt my favorite character, right above Obi-Wan, because he is every bit of Han Solo, but still very much a lightsaber wielding Jedi. And that's best of both, you know. So what I thought I was going to get with Finn, I thought I was, you know, Stormtrooper who was going to be a Jedi. He would have been blaster. He would have been lightsaber. That's what I was looking forward to. So
that would have been golden.
You know,
yeah, it would have been, huh?
They just dropped the ball. We understand. We know. There's an episode of Therapy coming up real soon, so just be sure to check that out. You can hear us complain about that a little bit more because
we
that
drops tomorrow, doesn't it? Or is it?
It does drop tomorrow.
On the channel tomorrow. So be sure to hit that YouTube QR code, subscribe. Be sure to follow and watch and check out the Star Wars Therapy. It's a special episode we did to go ahead and get going since we had Obi.
Sam, we lost the audio from you.
Still,
I got nothing from you, buddy.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Sam.
Okay, there we go.
There it is.
I tapped the cable on the mic and it fell out. So, but there we are for Kenobi. 3 episodes streaming now on.
Can I say one more thing?
Certainly.
This show has definitely changed how I see Darth Vader. Okay. This man is a psycho. He's a mass murderer. And I feel like people being like, it's like he got a cool helmet, but let's not let that overshadow like all this other stuff. Like this is a sick man.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like you saw.
We are supposed to be rooting against him. Because like in the original trilogy, he just choked the dude for like speaking out of turn in the meeting. It's like, yeah, okay, like he should just kind of shut up, but a little much for the workplace, Darth. But like now it's like, bruh, I've seen some things between Rogue One and Episode 3 of this show. I was like, man, he's a psycho.
Yeah, I mean, I think that will do a little bit more. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to say I do think that will do a little bit more to establish him as the villain. Because having seen episodes 1, 2, and 3, you automatically want to sympathize a little bit more with him because you see like he went through a lot, you know, and it becomes a lot easier to be like, well, there is still good in him. Maybe, but you know, you don't do this type of stuff. You don't do these kind of things. And Rogue One was a reminder that this is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And we, you know, some of the other terrible things were done off screen because when he tortured Leia to get the information about the plans, he went into the room. He was like, "You're going to talk." She was like, "No." He walked out and the little torture bot walked in. Then they fade the, you know, they cut scene because like they can't show that next part. But that next part obviously took place. And so it's like, I forget what I was watching. I think it might have been Robot Chicken, where they were like, yeah, I feel like it was Robot Chicken. He was like, yeah, well, you totally tortured your daughter. What? Granted, he didn't know. Doesn't change what happened. Doesn't change what he did.
A lot of stuff happened in that family.
I'm really glad they didn't go the old boy route. Because, that might have got too deep for some. Go check out Old Boy. You'll get that joke. So any other thoughts on Kenobi? Are we all in on the show? I mean, I've started it, so I got to finish it anyway, but
I'm all in, and it's fucking ridiculous how people are just giving Moses Ingram so much hate. Like, I'm glad that Ian McGregor actually came out and was like, y'all are being fucking assholes. If you're hating on her, you're not a real Star Wars fan.
I mean, I feel like the only way, and of course, in a sense, we're kind of the exception in most cases, but I feel like the only way to properly be a Star Wars fan is to find something to hate on and hate on it passionately. Because that's what Star Wars fans do. And I mean, even here, the very first thing I said, the very first thing that came out of my mouth is like, they fucked up the music.
Fair enough.
Wasn't intentional, but I realized now, I'm like, you know what? That's what makes me a real Star Wars fan.
I didn't DM, if you are going to write to, if you're going to do all this bullshit to a person,
yeah,
to express that hate, like no, that's more than just, I wish it would have done that better. They so much more.
And see, my thing with the intro was it reminded me too much of Marvel. Like a Marvel intro, because they showed all the faces.
Okay.
But that's what they've been doing with everything that's come to Disney Plus. That's kind of the new thing.
Yeah.
And granted, that does have a Marvel feel to it. But at least they're being consistent.
Yeah, and I mean, like the little, and it's like you got the light shining over the helmets and the face masks and the things like that. That part doesn't bother me. That's just, I know that's a Star Wars property.
I know nobody watches Star Trek, but Star Trek has a really good one of those too. It's like the ship flying. It's like an animation of like the ship flying and like rainbow flying behind the ship, and it's like turning corners and it zooms out, and it's the Starfleet like emblem. Pretty good stuff.
Which show is that?
They do that before all their like new shows. So if you watch Discovery, Picard, or the newest one that just came out, Strange New Worlds, it's just like the little tag that they do before every episode to show it's like a Star Trek property.
Okay.
I usually do skip intro.
Yeah.
So I do check that out because I started watching the new one,
Strange New Worlds.
Yeah,
I like it. I know. Star Trek fans, we have the same problem as Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
I appreciate both. So
see, I like Picard more than I do the new one.
I haven't watched Picard yet. I've watched Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, Discovery, and Strange New Worlds. I haven't watched Picard yet, and I haven't watched the original series. I'm probably never going to go back and watch the original series. I just feel like, why bother? I've seen enough episodes. I get what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like they've done a good job of like paying homage to those old episodes in all of the other series. Like the Deep Space Nine episode was like really, really good, where they like literally go back in time, like a classic episode. But
Double with tribbles.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Star Trek fans, we're the same way, man. We just can't like get it together. It's weird to hear people say like, "Oh, like Star Trek is too woke," and it's like Star Trek is probably the most woke IP ever. It's like,
but it's been woke since its introduction.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole basis of Star Trek is the wokeness.
Mm-hmm.
That's like getting mad at Marvel Comics for getting political. Bitch, it's always been political.
Really
Yep.
is. But it's the fact that so many people were not able to read between the lines and see the underlying themes, and now because they are
Being challenged.
I won't even say being challenged. Now that they can see for themselves and it makes sense and they understand it, that's what makes them feel as though it's in their face. Before, I mean, it's like if you watch Shrek. If you watch the first Shrek as a kid, you only get half the jokes. You see the funny images on the TV screen, you hear the wacky voices. That's one thing. As an adult, you have so much more appreciation for Shrek because of all of the innuendos, all of the double entendres, and all of the other humor that's involved. Then you get to look, I mean, like, what is it? The Cat in the Hat. Cat in the Hat is like
Oh my
50
God.
50. There are some people that hate the Cat in the Hat. There's some people who love the Cat in the Hat.
The Mike Myers one,
Yes.
Yeah.
bruh. That movie, that movie pissed off Dr. Seuss' wife.
Right.
But is never gonna make another live action Dr. Seuss movie again.
Right. But the thing is with that,
That movie was funny.
They forgot it was Mike Myers being Mike Myers. Mike Myers is the king of double entendres. That is every joke he's ever told. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the Cat in the Hat was actually pretty brilliant in the way they did it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was supposed to be a kids movie, and it was not.
It was not. Absolutely was not. You know
it was a kids movie that was written by somebody who clearly had been forced to watch a lot of kids movies and decided that he was going to make a kids movie for adults that adults would not mind sitting through, while their child, who did not really understand the plot, could just sit there and do whatever. But it's like the movie also still has to be like entertaining enough for a kid to like sit there.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's colorful enough. It's got enough of the wacky in place enough, you know, kids kind of go for that. But like the what is it, the segment where in the Cat in the Hat where he's like doing the infomercial and he's got on the sweater. Like, come on, bro. That's probably one of the funniest things. Like, hey, shut it. I'll make it look like an accident. I swear. Like, that's not kid humor. I don't want to see my niece and nephew run around looking at each other like, shut up. I'll make it look like an accident. What? No. But I'm cracking up. I'm dying laughing because I get it, you know? And
yeah,
I think in many cases, even with whether it be Star Trek, whether it be Star Wars, whatever the case may be, Marvel Comics, DC, oftentimes, no, it was not a kid's movie. Mm-mm. Oftentimes, the problem is if the undertone or the sub-story, if the subplot is not being picked up on by the readers, which is the people they're trying to reach. And the funny thing is, for a majority of the people who want to have complaints about these different IP, you're the person they're trying to reach. You are the person, because you pick up your comics. Why do they got to have all this stuff in comics? Why can't it just be what it is? Bro, it's always been. Cartoons in general came out, and the whole purpose of cartoons was it was like, you know, something quick. It was easy to produce. You didn't have to pay actors. You pay one dude to sit and draw pictures, and they run it in front of the little thing, and boom. Now you have something to show in front of movies. When you go back and you look at all the Bugs Bunny and cartoons, all the Warner Brothers cartoons, even some of the old Disney cartoons, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of this stuff was there to sell bonds and sell war bonds and stuff like that. It was all part of the war effort and things like that. It's always been political. It's always been political. And as time went on, they started doing it more satirical. And that's why Bugs Bunny has so many cartoons that are like attacking Hollywood. Now, today they don't land as well because it's much, much older Hollywood stars, but they were going after the people that people knew. You know what I'm saying? They did Carrot Blanca and stuff like that. It was a popular things at the time. Those people who have a problem with the character of Reva and the actress who's playing Reva, those people who had a problem with Finn, those people who had a problem with damn Jar Jar, they might be a little justified, but
I was gonna say
they might be a little justified, but ultimately it comes down to say that, you know, there is a message that the creators are oftentimes trying to get out there. Now, that's not saying that you have to drink the Kool-Aid. So you don't have to agree with what that artist's opinion is, or what that writer's opinion is, but you have to be able to have a conversation on the subject. And most times, the basic argument I hear, or I get, or I've even had to argue against, is that it's too woke. Casting a black actress or actor in a role does not inherently make something woke.
I also gotta say, when people try to say that, it's like it's not my fault you've been sleeping on this. Like, here's my thing, because we're gonna kind of branch out. I personally find it more enjoyable when they cast someone of a different ethnicity than just white. Like, being white is not a character trait. It doesn't add anything. But suddenly you get Spider-Man who's black and Hispanic. That's so much more interesting to me as far as a background and a story. Miles Morales is more entertaining to me than Peter Parker. When you give something else beyond just, oh, they're white. Okay, well, what was their life like? I mean, were they rich? Were they poor? Were they a nerd? Like, being white doesn't add anything. But as soon as you add something else, it's like, oh, well, now there's a lot more story to tell. So I don't get what people complain. It's like, oh, they cast a black person in this. There's fucking black people in Star Wars. Mace Windu, which I know Taylor, you're just going to say, hey, no, that was Samuel L. Jackson, not a black person.
I would never say that. Sam Jackson black.
You said that to me. You're going to post a video where you said that to me.
What? That Sam Jackson is not a black person?
Like because you said you wanted a black Jedi. I'm like, we had Mace Windu, and like, no, that's not a black Jedi. That's
I think that might have been me. I feel like that's definitely a me comment.
That sounds like a Sam comment to me.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's
I was gonna say I would never be a party to the erasure of Sam Jackson's blackness.
I am not an erasure to the blackness of Sam Jackson. I just think that in many cases, Sam Jackson by himself is universally accepted for being Sam Jackson, not for being black. And as a result, he is to a degree the exception. So if you cast somebody like Sam Jackson, most people aren't going to, it's not going to resonate to them that you casted a black person. You casted Sam Jackson.
Right. Think about it like this.
Okay.
Think about how famous Sam Jackson was at the time and how big the part of Mace Windu was versus how famous Hayden Christensen was and how big the part of Anakin Skywalker is. So like, even in tentpole franchises like this, at that point in time, it was like, I'm not saying it was a token casting, but it was also like a role where they would have never given like Anakin Skywalker, like that character would probably never have been black. It's like they just would have never done it, even though like somehow you get dragged through a volcano and you come out sounding like James Earl Jones. I don't know, brother. Sounds like some
hey, if I got to pick my voice, I'm just saying, think about it. You got a voice modulator.
Hey, you're not
pick a voice. I want to sound sultry and menacing at the same time.
Yeah, but Sam, you black.
Even so, like
I'm not black, and I would want James Earl Jones as my voice.
Yeah, but Ty, if you came on here sounding like James Earl Jones, I'd be like, we need to have a meeting.
So granted, I do understand, I can respect that, but we also had Lando Calrissian. Like we've had black people in Star Wars. So when you bring another black person in, it's like, why is that so triggering? There are black people in the universe. It's not even like, okay, we're going on a tangent. I think
it really does come down to just like perception, right? Like the danger, the power,
whether she's white or black or anything else,
right?
It's more to tell.
And I understand that it's like the power. Okay, so like like Star Wars in a way is like it's like a metaphor, right?
Okay.
Now the power of metaphors is that they try to like take a complex idea and like dwindle it down to something that's like digestible that someone can understand. So if I'm explaining something and I know somebody plays basketball, I'll try to explain it with as many like basketball references as possible, right?
Right.
the problem when movies do like kind of, or in stories kind of do this like allegorical metaphor where they're using mutants as proxy for black people. They're using, you know, the empire as proxy for like the Nazis and like Cold War Russia, right? It's still room for people to misinterpret. Like as an artist, like when someone comes to your work, they're coming with their experience, they're coming with their lens. And if you're not there, like beating them over the head with the fact that like this is what this is about,
Yeah.
Art takes on a life of its own based on like the experience of the people who share it. You know what I mean? Like not just experience it, but share it. Like there's a lot of, you know, black Star Wars fans, but black people don't really talk about Star Wars when we in black spaces. So it feels like there's not a lot of black Star Wars fans, but there are. Whereas, you know, and so it feels like a fandom that has always been kind of not for others, because you're not getting Star Wars references on black sitcoms. You're not getting Star Wars references in hip hop. You're not really getting Star Wars references in black culture for the most. You're getting Marvel. You'll get an Indiana Jones. You'll get Scarface, mafia movies, all that kind of stuff. And so I think that kind of, and the fact that like America basically at some point was like, yeah, hip hop culture, that's all black people are. Like if we just give them a little bit of that, throw a little bit of that in there, put a rapper in the movie, you know what I mean? They'll be happy and they'll come out and support this rapper who comes with the built-in fan base, as opposed to saying like, let's find the best actor for the role, regardless of color. If we need a black person for this role, we're going to find the person who embodies the role the best. Right. And the reality is, because people come in with their own experiences, and studies have shown that the average white person has one black friend, when more than one black person shows up in anything, it's like, wait a minute. I saw a good stand-up comedian. He was like, black people are like pennies. Like, it's cool to have like one or two, but if you pull out if you pull out more than five show up, you're like, what the hell is this? Like, imagine somebody try to pay you like in 1,000 pennies. Now just imagine that 1,000 pennies was 1,000 black people. Like that, it throws people off. You know what I mean? And they feel like, because so much of what has been going on in our world around like blackness has been political, and because they're not experiencing us and having friendships with us where we're just not talking about that kind of stuff, and that and you know, there's culpability to varying degrees going both ways, but I think that the reality is like, whenever black people or Latinx people or women, you know, try to like assert their place within geekdom, we got to pass a quiz, and it's like, so I would just rather watch Star Wars in peace and talk to people who gonna respect me and grown up geeks. You know, hit that QR code right above my head. But you know, being in a situation where you can talk to, where people are going to assume you have a base knowledge of it and respect that base knowledge of it, because they're actually reading what you're saying and listening to what you're saying, versus like going off of what they're expecting you to be based off of whatever experience or lack thereof that they have with people who they would group you in with. And I think at a large part that happens with Star Wars. And you know, it was a bummer. It was such a bittersweet moment when the trailer for
Force
Awakens came out, because the first face you see in the new Star Wars movie trailer is a black face. And now not only, and so it's like, okay, we definitely here. And it's just like, you scroll down 5 comments and the N-bombs are already flying like 5 seconds after the trailer even dropped. And it's just like, you do know, like, we go see these movies, and when these movies make billions of dollars, like the B in billion is for black, because we go see all this stuff too.
Like, you can't make
we spend money on this stuff too.
All the money, you have to have all the money spent to get to that point.
Yeah.
And if you marginalize and cut out entire communities because of your disapproval of something, they not gonna keep making. If Star Wars can't get that kind of money, they not gonna keep making Star Wars.
Right.
So,
And I think like a lot of respect, like because I have worked with Star Wars, I do want to be fair and say like I think that as an IP of all like the IPs that I've worked with, I would say them and like the Disney side of things are the ones who were the most aware and caring about like those sorts of things and just being like, you know, like they would just institute rules where it's like you can't leave the black people off. Like you can't leave the women characters out of the entire assortment. Like you just can't do it. And you know, Marvel has a rule where if you have if you have more than 3 characters on a shirt, yet one of them has to be a female character. Disney has a rule where if you can show X amount of princesses, one of them has to be Tiana. Because if you don't do stuff like, if you don't make people do it, they won't do it. And that's the reality. It's like, as much as people talk shit about characters being recast with different races, which is like a slightly different conversation, because obviously Reva is a new character, and this is our first time really seeing her, right? And so our first time seeing her, she's black, so she's black. But like, you know, when they change a character's race where the character's race doesn't really matter for the storytelling, it's kind of like we're hearing what you say when you say just make your own characters, and then but then you guys don't support that. So now what you're saying is just go over there and just do y'all stuff over there. We're not gonna look at any of the stuff y'all are doing, but then also go spend like $1 billion, come in and spend like billions of dollars on the IP that we like that's completely ignoring your community. Like that's not how it's gonna work. And business people know that, and people just gonna have to like get over themselves with like all the hate in the IP, because you just
there's too much disrespect for people that don't season their food, man.
Yeah,
that's
bruh.
I mean, it gets, without a doubt, it is a situation, and it's always going to be. There's always going to be some decisiveness, and there's always going to be some split in fandom.
Of course.
And the fact that there is a light side and a dark side to Star Wars by itself, you know, I've stated publicly, and I will say again, I had a very hard time with anything Star Wars that didn't involve lightsabers, because to me, Star Wars was Jedi versus Sith, period. Light side of the Force, dark side of the Force.
Yeah.
Now, however you support that light side, whether you fly a ship, whether you shoot a blaster, you better be in cahoots with somebody with a lightsaber, or you gonna lose me. If you on the dark side of things, if you a droid, a robot, if you a Hutt, it didn't matter. You better be in cahoots with somebody with a red lightsaber.
Yeah, we're not trying to see no clerks in the Death Star.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and so I was much more interested in the things that were the battles. Because you say Star Wars, I don't need all this drama. I need some fights. I need some battles. It's a war. Show me war. And if you're not showing me war, then it's not Star Wars. So
you don't want political like, theater?
Like, you know what? Make it a TV show, not my movie. But I mean, honestly, if somebody wants to have a problem, but I'm building up to something here. If somebody has a problem with the character like Rose, have a problem with the character Rose because you just suddenly introduce somebody who's infatuated with my boy when he should already be getting with the main character, Rey, because they already got a connection and you just dropped her in.
Exactly.
And if you want to like make a little love triangle thing where she's pining after him, he's pining after her, she should be trying to pine after Poe. All right, okay, we finally ended up seeing that maybe she was kind of feeling Kylo. So everybody's chasing somebody they can't get. Wait. Everybody's chasing somebody they can't get, but there's absolutely no reason for people to be coming on here acting like Rose is just the worst character that's ever been written. Homegirl showed up for a job, to get her check, to be in a movie. You know what I'm saying? She didn't sign up for all this extra stuff.
You know what that is, though? That's jealousy. Because she was a fan like them, and they plucked her out of the audience, and they the homegirl that's hating us like 30 years later. It should have been me. It's like, well, it wasn't.
Yeah, and there's That is very likely, and again, it's one of those things where it's like it's okay to not like every aspect. And even as a fan, I don't want everybody to like every aspect of Star Wars. There's things about Star Wars I don't like. There's a lot about Star Wars I do like. So you're welcome to not like things and not, be 100% with this or 100% with that. But this like bullying for the sake of bullying, and what I'm saying, taking it personal, like somebody like Reva didn't come to your house and spit in your cornflakes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a character on a show that
Yeah.
you obviously don't care enough about because you're watching it. You didn't make it a point to get to work for LucasArts. You know what I'm saying? You didn't find your way up to Skywalker Ranch to be a part of the soundstage, to be on the set. That's how much you cared, that you sat at home and watched it. You ain't go all out there. Arguments can be made. We could be just as facetious an asshole if you like. I am a damn good gatekeeper if I have to go there, but let it be good. Let people enjoy things. Simple as that.
It's like they're the people who is like when if you like one of those people who kind of like straddled social circles in high school, it's like you got friends who are like cool, and when we around them, we the guest star, we the neighbor that comes over 5-minute episode in, hit your marks, in, out, boom, peace out. We not trying to we not the A plot.
Why are you talking shit about me?
But then you got your friends where it's like, here I'm the A story in this friend group.
Right.
But the friends from that group don't understand how to play the background in the other friend group. And so it's just like, man, this could be cool if y'all just were not the people representing it. Because I think in terms of representation, I think in terms of just like ideas about like what's going on in the world today, Star Wars, and for that matter, I think Star Trek would just be some great media to provide an alternative to the like Handmaid's Tales, where it's just like, this is showing what we on the way to. Like we could show some stuff that's like, this is what we could be if we like band together. But if all the ambassadors for this kind of media are fucking assholes, then it's just like cool people who would be able to like prop this kind of stuff up ain't gonna be down with it because you're not making it sound appealing. You're not like, we are sometimes as geeks just as unwelcoming as the people who we feel like have shunned us. You know what I mean? And it's like you got to pass all these quizzes and tests and prove this and prove that. And it's like, what if I don't know none of this shit? Kick me out the group?
No, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, it's a starting point of where your training begins. I just need to know, like, how strong are you? Are you novice? Are you intermediate?
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about quizzes like, how long have you been watching?
And I get that.
Yeah.
Because like the fact that somebody has to qualify themselves if they say they like something, well, have you read this? What about that? Well, who was the character that da-da-da-da-da-da-da?
And that's a person who can't share because they've never had something delicious enough to share.
And that's exactly what it is. And I think one of the most interesting scenarios is okay. So one of our hosts, Linda and I used to work together. In fact, I was a manager at GameStop, and Linda was one of the first people that I hired. And yeah, I've known Linda a very long time. And just in her interview, I was like, oh, hell yes. Tomorrow, can you start tomorrow? Because I just knew she was going to be a great fit. Just our conversation, the dialogue and everything. And Linda's a very intelligent person. So people would come in, and truth be told, Linda plays like way more games than I do. And I consider myself like a gamer. And Linda has played more games than me. And so people would come in and she'd be on the floor, and people would like, she'd be right there. They're looking at a game or like maybe holding two games. They have that very clear, like, I can't make a decision moment. And Linda would be like, is there something I can help you with? Da, 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 da. And what is the typical toxic male gamer? Like, no, I'm good. And then comes to the counter with the same two games. and wants to ask me, wants to get my opinion. Now, are you getting my opinion because I'm a man and you want a man's opinion about this from a male perspective? Or are you getting my opinion because she's a girl and you don't think she knows anything about video games? Because this is what we about to do. Oh, so which of these two? Hey, Linda, which of these two is better? Yeah, you beat both of these, right? Because I haven't played either one of these. Which one is better? Yeah, I would play this one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just need me to say what she's telling you. You got to hear it in a deep voice. We'll do that, but you're not going to disrespect.
That's the white
my
friend
employer.
telling other white people don't touch black people's hair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to disrespect my friend. And one thing about it, when people come into Grown A Geeks, QR code in the corner, I am very much about, like, even here, I'm like, you're welcome to not like something, but you don't get to shit on another person's opinion because it's not yours. Now, if something is factually wrong, factually inaccurate, by all means, point that out, express that, explain that part. But if it's something you think, if it was in your head only and you can't find it as a fact, if there's no evidence to consistently back it up, that's an opinion, and you got to be careful about being upset over your opinion. And so that's where I think the biggest issue with Star Wars comes in, because you can have a black fan of Star Wars who says, you know, historically, there are not very many black characters in Star Wars. There is no proper contradiction to that statement, because historically, there are not very many black characters in Star Wars. So if anybody comes back and says, like, well, Sam Jackson was in it, what about Billy D. Williams? We getting there. Okay, Finn. Well, hey, you on a roll.
Keep going.
Right. Name another. And it's like if you
can't have just one per trilogy. It doesn't work like that.
You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, and then on top of that, it's like there's probably only like 2 or 3 other characters that, with some heavy thought, I could come up to. And the first thing that comes to mind is like, oh, you know what? I saw about 4 or 5 faces of some of those other not rebel soldiers, but some of those other stormtroopers who decided they weren't going to be stormtroopers again, because one girl turns out she might be Lando's daughter. And so, and the funny thing is, we make that joke, but that's just how small that world is.
Yeah.
That there's a high probability that is Lando's daughter, because you're the only other person on the fucking planet that looks like her.
Damn, your Mace Windu Reva connection seems a lot more feasible.
I mean, but like that's the kind of stuff that happens in media. Even if like Sam know I like teenage like shows about high school stuff like that, right? And there's like a very big difference between like Canadian high school shows and American high school shows in a lot of different ways. Anybody who's ever watched Degrassi understands what I'm talking about. But in America, we have this thing where it's like you can have a diverse cast, but we like the black dude got to date the black dude. I mean the black girl.
I mean, the black dudes could date black dudes. It's okay.
Not back then.
Nah, it definitely wasn't gonna be something.
I don't know why I'm frozen.
Well, I'm thinking the other Jeff is a little frozen too.
Right, I'm about to hit the other Jeff and let him know. He didn't get to make another comment on the Star Wars. So you know what? I will put him in the green room for a second, and I will reach out to him, and we'll come back. We will bring him back in a second. But let's see, Taylor, you still with me? All right, Taylor, I'm gonna put you in the green room. Bring you back. 2 seconds. Boom.
No,
boom. He's still stuck.
Hold on. Before you do that, can we all try to make that same face?
Damn, I needed to screenshot that. Oh wait,
you ready?
Miller. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Miller, you got to make the face that Jeff's making. I'm gonna screenshot it. Okay,
let's see right when you do it. Ready?
3, 2, 1. Okay, I think I got it. That's gonna be our thumbnail for this episode. But yeah, I mean, like there's definitely a big difference, and I think that is one of the yeah. And you see, we have fun, we have a good time, man. We laugh. Okay. Oh, good. Jeff's back. We're gonna let Jeff make his
I'm
point.
back.
Okay, Miller. Your thoughts on Star Wars, real quick. I gotta get your juices flowing. I know you was at trivia, and trivia get you.
I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan. I can't wait until they announce a new IP that does with Star Wars. Like, it's not Book of Boba Fett. It's not Mandalorian. It doesn't take place during the Skywalker saga. It is new. It is either before the Skywalker saga or after.
Oh,
isn't that Andor? They're doing Andor.
Andor's still in the Skywalker saga. It just takes place before
time frame.
Right.
I got an idea for a show. 5,000 years in the future.
There we go.
Somebody digs up them lightsabers that what's her name buried at the end of
the lightsabers Ray buried.
Yeah, Ray buried. And they're like, what's this? And then it's like, I don't know, some other Jedi shit happened.
You know what?
I just want nothing. I just want something unexpected. I don't want people coming in helmets and capes and cloaks, like breathing heavy through masks, still talking about Darth Vader and still talking. It's just like, let's do something new, man. Let's like, what would a planet? What is a planet who doesn't have like access to the Jedi and the Sith? How do they interact with the Force? And let's tell that story. Maybe they do something better than just like make swords to chop each other's heads off with. You know what I mean? Like,
give me a Young Yoda series. It covers 800 years right there.
You want 800 years of him talking backwards?
No, but
apparently the first 100 years he doesn't talk at all, because I have yet to hear Grogu say shit. So we won't get all that time. That's probably why he didn't know that.
I think
a really fascinating story about how like Jedi and Sith came to be, because it used to be just the Force, and then it was people that took it to the separate extremes, and they've been in battle ever since. And it was very much like a feudal Japan-esque type of feel to it.
So Miller, how would your Yoda series work?
I guess I threw that name out there because it's familiar to most people, but you would have to do something that's at least touches on something we already know about. I don't know if people would grab something just totally new. You'd have to start somewhere with like one of the Skywalker ancestors, or Yoda when he was younger, or
unfreeze somebody from Boba Fett's bounty.
Yeah,
5,000 years, like Demolition Man in the Star Wars universe.
The carbonite.
You have like a familiar face to give you that nostalgia vibe, kind of like what Obi-Wan has done for me, where it's I know it's new and it takes place in the past, but it's new, but it's got some of the old people in it.
No, for me, this is very much like, this falls right in line. This is a prequel to me. Like this is episode 3.5. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, this is picking right up where we left off, kind of thing. And you can flash forward 10 years, because we flash forwarded however many years to get to the new sequel trilogy. So that part of it, I'm okay with that. I do like the idea of, maybe going with something just completely different, completely separate. And I think the tie-in would be something like carbonite, just having someone frozen in carbonite and having them thaw that person out. The fact that they are in carbonite would kind of be the tie-in to the old ways, the old days, and that sort of thing. But it does it in a way that we could perhaps not have all of this regurgitation of the things that we know, and truly get into something that is considered new. But I could even go for now personally. I could go for a Yoda series, because why everybody else, yeah, it can be a little long, it can be a little old to keep doing the same thing, but same shit has worked for the last 75, for the last however many years. So to a degree, if we stick with familiar territory and expand on that portion of the story, and that's what I think Obi-Wan is doing. Like, it's taking something that we do know, characters we are familiar with, but it's filling in gaps that we don't have. We don't know what took place during this time to this time. If it was anything of importance, it seems like it would have been included. This is the opportunity for them to include it. If he was just sitting out there for 20 years watching Luke from a distance, like, I was going to try to do the little, like, I was going to try to do the little whistle voice from a Family Guy. Pray your fat ass here, like, if that's what he's been doing,
riding your speeder bike,
right? You know what I'm saying? If that's where we're going with it, then that's one thing. And so it is good to show that there was some attempt to reach out, and the fact that we hear, and if everybody watch episode 1 where you catch this, we hear him say, when the time comes, the boy must be trained. Like, that was his plan the whole time. That was a revelation for me. And that was something that, like, I look forward to getting more of those moments where it's like, maybe they dot an I here, they cross. This is proofreading for me. And I want to proofread it.
Give me a movie about Ahsoka.
They're getting the show.
The whole series.
Yeah, but at some point, man, you got to stop trying to stuff more stuff into the sausage and like make another sausage. That's my whole thing. Like, we got all this time where we're not right now. We are stuffing. We are stuffing. Nah, man, it's not more vegetables. It is. Eventually, though, it's not. Eventually, you're gonna have too many vegetables. Not even gonna be wet. It's gonna be
It's gonna be a pot of vegetables. It's a pot of vegetables.
Now, one way they could tie in stuff is droids. Carbonite would be one way. Droids are timeless. Like, I mean, look at how long R2 was out of commission and he just came to life. Like, it could be hundreds of years later and they're cleaning out some closet and they find parts of C-3PO and R2-D2 and stuff. And
I do think they need to come up with a new show, because what the thing is, Disney has cut out the legacies.
Right.
They need to build their own universe. So they need to go somewhere outside of the saga, outside of the droids, outside of Yoda. They need to be building a foundation. And if they're following what Marvel's doing,
man, they fighting at the hockey game right now. My bad. That's all. It's like a full team brawl right now.
That on ESPN? Where you
at? What? That still happens?
ESPN. Yeah, New York Rangers winning 6-2. And Tampa Bay not happy about something, so everybody throwing punches, fighting, refs trying to break it up.
Whenever Tampa and New York get together, they always fighting.
Sounds about right.
Well, hey, these refs tough. They got people in chokeholds for real.
Now I understand.
Be no hockey ref.
I understand why Star Wars did this back in the day, and I understand to a point why even Star Trek does it to a point. But when are we going to see a planet that has more than one biome? So, like, it's not just all ice or all desert or all city or all this. Like, Star Trek does a better job of.
In all honesty, they might have planets like that, but they're only showing one aspect of it. Like, they're not.
Yeah, this is a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
They need to build something new.
Star Wars. It started with Star Wars like that because of budget constraints. Like when they did Empire, it was too hard to move from an ice environment to something else. It would be too expensive, so they just kept it. The whole first part was on Hoth. You know what I mean? Same thing with Tatooine. It's all desert. It's easier to set up there, film everything, do everything there. But we're past that point with green screens now. We're past that point with, I mean, I know, don't get me wrong, I love on-location filming over a green screen. But even in the prequels, like Coruscant and stuff, like you could tell that they were standing in front of a green screen. You could tell it was digital.
You know what they got now? Have you seen, not to take it back to Star Trek, but on Discovery, they had, and I guess on the new show, they're using it too. There's some like new AR wall. But it looks amazing. They have like a bunch of Will Wheaton has like a podcast / post episode thing that he does called the Ready Room, where he like talks to people from the different shows after each episode of like the Star Trek shows. So he was talking to like the director and stuff, and they were talking about this AR wall where they can use it to just like change stuff in real time. So it's not actually a green screen, but it's like a green screen, but the actors can see it. And so it's like crazy. It's really, really crazy. It's good. Cause like the scenes that they showed, like them acting in the AR and with the AR wall, like they look like flawless in the actual show when they did all the editing together. So there is like you said, there's like crazy advancements in technology where you can like be changing environments much easier. I feel like Star Wars has this like dedication to practical. Like they want to film in the desert and they want to go to a swamp, and it's just like, damn, bro. Like,
they want to make the puppet.
Yeah. You know who I watch a show about?
Who?
The dude who from Boba Fett, who was the doctor. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's a music artist named Thundercat. He's like the dude that did the alterations.
He was
like
gave
the
prosthetic.
I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah. He's this dope music artist named Thundercat. But I watched like something like a little 30-minute comedy about him like going and giving people different like body parts or something like that. Like I feel like everything we're filling the universe in with doesn't have to be like an epic story that's connected to the Skywalkers.
I mean, and you know,
it's like
would you say that like without being funny, I think that was one of the things that I enjoyed about the Star Wars shorts, the Visions, Star Wars Visions.
Yeah.
Was the fact that every one of those was a unique story. Now, I was happy because it had a shit ton of lightsabers, and that's my thing. But these were like random characters, random scenarios, random situations, and it shows ramifications throughout the galaxy. And I think that's one of the big things that we've never really actually seen in Star Wars. It's always been like during the time that the Empire was in power. What did they do? What did they do? What happened? What was so different when Palpatine took over?
Was it so bad?
Right. Like, I mean, let's be honest. You know, like during the time that he took over, was it just his job was better? Because I feel like the people who were out of the Outer Rim were still like, hey, this is the Outer Rim. Your rules don't apply here. So what was different? The senators, did they get taxed heavier? Like, why was... If it's one of those situations where it's like all people should be free just so they can be free, but Palpatine got like a whole medical care plan for everyone. We putting a chicken in every pot kind of thing. Like if life was technically better under Palpatine, but he had this murder bot,
was right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But he had this one murder bot running around with his own agenda. Okay, I see that. You know, you got to figure out what's the trade-off. Like Palpatine was great, but Vader was still the loose cannon. So, but it's like if you was on Tatooine and you was a moisture farmer, why did you feel the need to go out and fight? Why did you have to join the rebellion? For what? What was gained?
They took all the moisture, man. That's what empires do. They go in, they say, what's your best resource? What y'all do over here? Okay, give me that.
You know,
we need some of that. It starts off fair. Oh, we'll do a little bit of this. We come in, we bring some protection, give you some stormtroopers, make sure
they brought the bigger
and
moisture
then
farmer down the street.
We need a little bit. We need a little bit more moisture this week. We need a little bit more. Okay, the moisture is mine, brother. We own the cops, basically. Like,
so
stormtroopers work for us.
Like, this isn't Hydra Cap, though, where it's like, oh, wow, things are better and crime is super low and maybe he was right.
Right.
Like you look at these other planets and they're full of shit. Like,
it's one of those things where certain places have it better than others.
But the Trade Federation, that fell more to... you know what? This is why I love this. We're having a whole conversation about Star Wars politics and what was better. But I couldn't do this everywhere. I can't do this in some groups. Thank you. But my only point being, like, those are the kind of shows that I think would be uniquely interesting. When I say, like, we need to see the fallout, we need to see what was the difference here than here. Why? if we take any fan favorite side character from any Marvel show that's come out so far, the bounty hunter that Mando had to have the showdown with when he went to the one town, when he had the Beskar spear, he was fighting the.
Oh yeah.
And that guy was actually the time traveler from the first Terminator. So, yeah, that's why it stands out in my mind. I cannot remember his name, but the actor, he was the guy who basically got Linda Hamill pregnant. That's that actor. Anyway, is it Michael something? Anyway, I want to see more about him. Like he was a well enough known bounty hunter that was who was called, and Mando knew who he was. He knew who Mando was. Like their reputations preceded them, kind of thing. You've shown me Cad Bane. Cad Bane got some time. I don't need like a whole series on Cad Bane, but it could be we could start with like a 10 episode series, 30-minute episodes of all these characters. We'll start with Michael Biehn.
Star Wars bounty hunters, and each episode's a different bounty hunter.
There you go.
IG-88, Boba Fett, like yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We do
Bossick.
Something like that. Bossick, he's had his moment. But even if you take something like so we take Taylor's idea and we take the Doctor, give him a whole episode. You know what I'm saying? He's a fan favorite, and like you got because Star Wars is known for having this guest casting. First of all,
it reminds me of this show. Maybe y'all heard of it, Star Trek. Yeah, they do that. So basically, Star Wars should just copy Star Trek.
You know what? We are not going to turn this into who has the better formula conversation. I tell you what, we will make this a really good segue because you were talking about that AR wall and how they are improving technology. And just real quick, let me take a quick opinion. Jeff, you got one last thing? Last comment.
I just wanted to mention that the Amazon Boys, the animated one, did a good job of expanding on the universe.
Diabolical. Yes.
Diabolical is amazing.
Using ancillary characters that you hadn't heard of, but it's still in the same universe, that kind of thing. There's been a couple shows lately that have done a good job. Like you said, Visions. So, but you were going to say about the AR wall?
I was going to say, well, with the AR wall, of course, that gets to talking about technology and how they can improve things based on technology. And since we're a couple of fans sitting here talking around improved technology, check this segue out. What do you all think about the new and improved She-Hulk? Are they going to have it fixed in time?
That
do you
segue
even
was
notice?
gorgeous.
Do you notice any difference? Thank you, sir. Thank you. I was actually going to jump it a little sooner when we were talking just about the AR wall. I was like, well, yeah, they can do a lot of cool things. Matter of fact, what do you think about She-Hulk? Did they improve that? Anyway, do you notice a difference? Do you feel like the new trailer is new and improved? Is it any different?
I actually haven't watched it yet.
Haven't seen it.
I
watch second trailers.
I saw a side-by-side picture.
Right.
And the only difference I really noticed was the lines on the facial features looked more realistic.
I mean, to me, that's the difference between having a 720p and a 1080p TV. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's going from standard definition to high definition. If you sitting up here looking at something in like 4K these days, that could really be an issue. Or if you got a refresh rate over 120, you may notice that type of stuff. My concern is, as far as the look for She-Hulk, I'm more concerned with the fact that she's very thin. And I say that very carefully and very delicately. I just want to say, in comparison to the character of She-Hulk in the comic being overtly muscular. I want to be very clear. I don't want to say like the girl looks like she should eat a sandwich. I'm not talking about a thin woman kind of thing.
Who was talking about a sandwich? No, I want one.
Right.
Sandwich?
Right.
Sandwich?
Food.
I'm going to say a sandwich.
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
But right. But no, seriously, like the biggest thing that I'm concerned with more than anything is like I'm going to see Hulk-like features come from someone who does not have a Hulk-like physique. And I am concerned about this is going to be a really weird word to throw out under the circumstances. I'm concerned about the believability of She-Hulk being able to accomplish her feats in the show. Because when I see Banner do things, like, okay, for example, I look at Professor Hulk and I don't think he's as strong as Angry Hulk.
Mm-mm.
I agree.
I can look at that and I can see that. So I think there's a limitation as to what Professor Hulk would be able to accomplish, what he could do. Like if he was, I don't know that Professor Hulk could have punched that space worm thing from the first Avengers movie and knocked it down in one punch. I think his arm still would have been in the sling after that punch. You see what I'm saying?
Did we even see him fight in Endgame?
No, Professor Hulk. The only thing we saw from Professor Hulk was a snap, and
when he went back in time and they were standing around and he was trying to get in the mood.
Right.
He grabbed something and like threw it, like, but it was like half-assed, like he was trying to get into character almost.
He looked like Paul Rubens dying at the end of the Buffy movie.
Wow. Now,
there's a throw.
I got a good one for you, Sam. I am literally single-handedly waiting to see Avatar 2 for the technological improvements it's going to bring.
You know what? I will 100% say that is the only interest I have in the second Avatar is the visual aesthetic of the movie.
I could care less about the plot. In Avatar 1, when they called it unobtainium, I checked out. I was like, really, unobtainium? That's the best name you could come up with for this.
Honestly, I thought that was fantastic, and I thought that was like an in joke that made it to production.
No, I hated that joke.
You know what I'm saying?
Out of all the things they could have called it, but
the fact that it was Giovanni Ribisi saying it is what made it work for me. Had it been anybody else at the time, I don't know that it would have gone over properly. But with it being him, it landed.
Okay. But I literally am counting till December because I know that once Avatar 2 comes out, we're going to see improvements in other aspects of filming, not necessarily in animation, for just animation, but like the AR screen he was talking about that they do in Star Trek.
Yeah.
The facial mapping, all the stuff that comes out after Avatar 2 comes out is going to improve Star Wars or Star Trek or anything with an alien in it.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to mocap the face better.
Mm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing like a year from now or 2 years from now, once it's been out and people have been able to copy it, what kind of movies are we going to have?
Well, the only issue I have with that is because, yes, there were, after the original Avatar movie, there were great advancements in the technology, and you got to see that in other movies. But like sometimes they do that and it gets overused. Like think of Matrix and Bullet Time.
I mean, you're going to have your copycats, but there are things in Bullet Time and ways that they filmed in Matrix that we're using in films today.
Mm.
So, but it's also become so commonplace that it doesn't have the same effect. They had
the Bullet Time is a joke right now.
Thompson Water Seal had a freaking commercial for the rain hitting the deck. They did a 360 around the chair, stop frame. The rain didn't move. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it doesn't have the same effect. I remember watching. Remember in 1989 when the Batmobile shields up and it's like, and it was like, okay, where the hell did all of that even come from? But damn, that looks cool when the Batmobile has the shields up, right? Again, Thompson Water Seal, they have no shame. That same chair on the deck, it has like a whole little armor sequence going up where the chair has like the protection from the rain, because that's what they sell is water seal and protect, like deck protecting and stuff like that. So while I know like the first thing that comes to my mind is like in 2009, I think we were when we went to go see Avatar, we went to go see it Christmas. It was me, the kids, I had the wife, like everybody. It was a big thing. Like, oh, we're going to see Avatar, and we saw it in 3D.
Same.
And we got to see that real 3D where it wasn't the like it was the normal glasses, but they had like the 3D lens in it kind of thing. And so the one segment where the little weeping willow things, like they were under the tree and all the little white things were floating around, that looked mind-blowingly good in 3D in a high-end theater and stuff like that. So I get what you mean when you say seeing the technological advances that will come afterwards. Some of it will be overused, definitely.
But some of it's going to be taken to another level.
Some of, yeah, I'd say some of it will be looked at, used, improved upon, and made better.
Like I feel like there's like bullet time stuff where it's like it don't look like bullet time, but they're using the same technology. They're just using it in a different way. They're not trying to show somebody like frozen up in the air and like the Karate Kid kick stance like everybody basically did after the Matrix came out.
I want to ask a question, and this might be outing myself, but did anyone else watch the new Chip and Dale movie?
Definitely.
Oh,
in,
God.
in my queue and busy weekend, but it's
a lot of fun. So that's kind of what it is to me. Is like you're gonna get some people who just do like a cheap rip-off version of it, but you're gonna have other people that are just gonna do a magnificent job.
Right. Like that's the same technology. That's like basically the evolution of the Roger Rabbit technology.
Yes.
Right.
But like done to a different level because now we have like 2D cartoons and 3D cartoons in different styles and real life people and everybody's interacting and it's actually like a good movie on top of that.
Well, see, and just when I was looking at the Space Jam movie, and when you look at the visuals from the first Space Jam movie versus the visuals in the newer Space Jam movie, there's the animation segments are phenomenal. The 3D segments are very impressive. Even if the movie was kind of light, it looked great. You know, and I would put it in terms of visuals. Obviously, we got to put it above the first one. But surprisingly enough, Who Framed Roger Rabbit still looks natural and seamless.
Yeah.
All these years later.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And this is after like the Tom and Jerry movie, which had them like 3D animation live models. It still just didn't. It looked like Tom and Jerry were out of place. You know, and
and I think part of it too is like the story is what like also all the movies that we like that were good, it's like the care that they took into making it seamless is also the care that they took into like writing the story. Like the story behind Who Framed Roger Rabbit is really good. I mean, I'm gonna confess, I've never seen any of the Avatar. I haven't seen Avatar, and I'm probably not gonna see it because I'm just a person where it's like I don't want to just go watch like pretty visuals. I need a story. I need something to be interesting. I need a story I can like get behind. I'm not necessarily on board with everybody always getting redeemed. And from what I've heard of the story, it's kind of just like, bruh, no, you're like kind of fucked up. And I don't know like how I feel about now.
You've watched Fern Gully, right?
Yeah, it's basically that.
And you've seen Avatar.
And it's like it's every story. Basically, it's every story of like, well, we was gonna take out. It's like one man goes in and it's like, damn, we was gonna take y'all over, but I didn't know y'all had bitches.
Who's gonna be the white savior?
Now, I do have a counterpoint for that because I truly believe that had I not seen Avatar in the theater and saw it in 3D, I probably would have watched half of it at home and turned it off because it is not the same movie at home.
No,
as it is in the theater.
Yeah.
Avatar is the first movie I've ever went to where the 3D wasn't jumping out at me. It was more of a window into that world.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that aspect of Avatar too. I want to see where they take the 3D. If it's in, I will go pay to go see it in 3D. I haven't been in the movie theater since Batman versus Superman, so
I'm sure they'll have some.
It's been a minute.
I'm sorry. And that was the last one you saw? Damn.
I saw
no wonder you ain't been back.
Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, and no, I didn't go see Justice League. I was working too much at the time. So I saw those opening night. And Avatar is one of those that even if you don't like fantasy movies, even if you don't like any of that kind of stuff, you should see Avatar in the theater if you can, because it is a different movie when it's in
James
3D.
Cameron, he'll re-release it right before Avatar 2 comes out to get everybody to catch up and make even more money on the movie, because
he can overtake Marvel in the historic.
Right. Good luck at this point. 25 films and counting. He's going to have to keep going.
I think just for single film though. Because before something, he was the
Avatar held the record for the single ticket sales, and of course, a lot of the arguments were that, just like Jeff pointed out, we both saw it in 3D, which was a more expensive ticket, but it was a movie that really does kind of warrant the visual. That's a theater experience movie. And that is a movie that, the visuals are going to make a huge difference. And I can absolutely get behind the idea of, coming back to see just what they're going to do. My thing with the next one is just man, do I really want to do this again? Because it's I need more premise. I need more than the trailer I got. I need to know what this movie is about, because I don't care about the Na'vi enough. Now, I do have a question. Bless you. I do have a question of if it's the same guy, if it's the same Marine, how is he still in this body? And is he still inside his little tube over here?
He in that body
forever. Do you not remember the ending?
You don't remember the
ending?
Basically,
they took him out of the tube and they put him at that tree, and they had the tree connect between the Avatar body and the human body, and kind of made the change permanent.
And he's now no human body anymore.
Blackface.
Yeah, it's been a long.
Wow.
It's a white savior movie. Hey, let me as a white person take over your culture and show you how to do it better.
Now, it was funny. Well, remind me later. I want to come back to the point you made earlier where you were talking about somebody, because the first thing that came to mind was Last Samurai, and I was like, here's a whole movie with all these Asian people and Tom Cruise. So it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's where you said white people bring nothing interesting. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, but you know what? There were issues with that movie, but I did kind of enjoy it. And I like that he was the idiot the entire movie. He didn't have a clue what the fuck was going on. He looked lost. And it wasn't until he finally just humbled himself and accepted the ways of the culture that he finally started to
get somewhere.
Right. Get somewhere. Now,
it's not like Karate Kid too.
By contrast, bingo. By contrast, 47 Ronin, not what was it? Not
47 Ronin, Keanu.
Yeah. Maybe we didn't need to make that movie at all.
But he's Asian.
He's Pacific Islander. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of Japanese people in Hawaii.
Okay. Then that.
If the movie was bad, it was bad. That's fine.
Right.
It was no Sucker Punch, but
oh my god,
nothing.
Talk about one of the second worst movie I've ever seen in theaters.
Yeah, even the great Oscar Isaac could.
No, I got you beat on that one. Dragon Wars.
Ooh.
I remember when I was younger, we waited all summer for this movie to come out. We bought our tickets. We were there early. We had our seats. We had the girl that came with us that had the big purse with the bag full of snacks. We had it all planned. We walked out of that movie.
You didn't have your own cargo shorts for your snacks?
I had a 9-piece from KFC tucked away, sir. I go to the movies correctly. So
how long was this movie? 9 pieces of chicken?
Hey, I got some big shorts, bro. So the hard part is getting the mashed potatoes in with the gravy. Okay, that's all I want to say.
Yeah.
So that's the part that where you have to be, careful. Otherwise, you look like you went to the bathroom in your pants. So, but I remember walking out of Dragon Wars, and that was one of the first movies because as a kid, I was just happy to go to the movies. I could care less what I was watching. Mom and dad gave me $10, $20, whatever it was. Like, go lose yourself for 3, 4. I get my friends to meet me up there. We play in the arcade. We do all this. I couldn't tell you movie one that I probably watched. I can tell you movies I saw, but I can't remember specific instances like I can. Dragon Wars was the first movie that pissed me off as a kid. I walked out of there. I was like, we waited all summer for this. Sucker Punch was the same way. Like they built it up. They built it up. They built it up. I watched it and I was like, that movie sucked. Like, what was I waiting for? Like, yeah. There's only been a couple movies that I've actually been to the movie theater and walked out and been like, I wasted my money.
Yeah, The Last Airbender.
Didn't go to the theater and saw
movie?
That. Huh?
You went and saw the movie?
Well, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender cartoon.
I mean, same.
I saw it opening weekend. I read the reviews and I was just like, you guys just don't understand. You watch the show.
Oh, you were on that
the movie, and I was just like,
the trailer did not sell me. The trailer, I was like, oh no.
See, that's the thing. It looked like Avatar. It looked great, and everything about the movie to me, like, really, really looked good. But it was very, very clear that like M. Night Shyamalan had basically just like watched that show over the top of his laptop while his children were watching it, like on the floor in front of him, and he would glance up, see some scenery, but he didn't actually like watch that show because, I mean, they don't even pronounce the characters' names right. We can start and end there. Like once you're not pronouncing the names of characters who, not a book. This is a TV show where we have pronunciations of the name that we've heard. Once you can't even respect something as simple as that, like, you pretty much lost me. And that movie was fucking terrible. That little boy who played Aang was terrible. Not even because he was white, just because he was terrible. And in the little video, and M. Night Shyamalan was like, "Yeah, let's cast him in this movie." And
wait a minute, what'd you say, Jeff? He took had a videotape of him doing some karate.
This is public record. He made a video doing like a little kung fu routine and sent it in for like an audition. And M. Night Shyamalan was like, "That's the kid." He put on, I think he like shaved his head and put on like an Avatar outfit when he did it. But I was like, this kid has. I'm not trying to beat up on this kid, but he just, I don't know if he was directed poorly or if he just didn't have the acting chops. It's like, cool, man, you can do all the kung fu, great. We need a stunt man or we need a body double, but like, let's get somebody who can like actually embody the spirit of this character, who is for the most part a generally happy character, but you wouldn't know it if you watched that movie. So
yeah, but when has M. Night Shyamalan ever directed a very happy film?
I don't care.
No. I'm saying M. Night Shyamalan was a poor choice as a director.
I agree
with that.
He's a poor choice for a director for anything. He'll never get another dollar from me out of, as long as I live. He'll never get a dollar from me.
I enjoyed Old. Old was good.
Cool. I'm glad other people are enjoying his movies, but he'll never get another dollar out of me. That's for damn sure. Unless he like gives a public apology. This motherfucker had the nerve to be talking about, well, yeah, like the movie did make a lot of money, so you know we did leave it open for a sequel, bruh. If you don't go sit down somewhere, like you think you gonna direct the sequel if they even make one? Get out of here, man.
Where in the cup did he hurt you?
Huh? Right in the heart. Right in the heart. So now you don't understand, like Avatar, like Last Airbender is a show that was like very, very like dear to my heart. Like
same.
I thought it was very well done. I think very few shows stick the landing, and they stuck the landing in every way. Like,
yes,
I just felt like, and it was at the time where like the big IP boom was happening, and every IP was starting to get turned into a movie. You had your chance, and this is to me something where we're talking about at least 3 movies, if not more, and all gone to shit now. Like we gotta wait forever for the taste of, like, and I don't know what it is about the Avatar project. Like the Netflix one seems to be falling apart now. Like the original creators left that show because of creative differences, and it's just like, man, how you have creative differences with the people who made the damn show?
So there's a couple things just from what I've been reading about it. So the creators wanted to stick to only Asian actors and actresses. Like that's all they wanted. And that's we've got to give white people a chance. No, you fucking don't. This is their story. So between that and between Netflix wanted to go a bit more mature because they figured, hey, the people still enjoying this or that watch it when they're young, they're not adults. So we want to do like a kind of Game of Thrones-esque thing. And the creators are like, but that's not the story. So the creators, Brian and Dante, they actually ended up launching Avatar Studios. So they're actually working on a bunch of new content right now.
Good.
So super excited about that. Netflix is still proceeding forward. They got their cast. We'll just have to see how it goes. But if you love Avatar: Last Airbender, they actually have a podcast out called Bending the Elements, which is hosted by Dante Bosco, the voice of Zuko, as well as Janet Varney, who voices Avatar Korra. And they're basically rewatching the show, and it's been amazing.
Cool.
I would check that out just because Dante Bosco. Like I need him in more
he's fun.
things. Yeah, like he could be in more things. I'd be okay with that. But I don't. You have a lot of people who are going to be a little scared of moving forward with anything Avatar, especially Avatar live action, because we got burned and we got burned pretty bad. And just like if somebody says to me Dragon Ball Z and live action in the same sentence, I'm just going to stare at them for a while.
Right. No. Speed Racer, Dragon Ball Z.
I mean, in comparison,
Speed Racer was better than Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's Speed Racer.
I agree.
Terrible.
Yeah, it was like it could have
terrible.
It could have
been better, much better.
But see, there again, that's one of those things where like they were leaning really heavy on the visuals for that movie, which were stellar. That story was very weak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like that's the only reason that didn't become like a whole Fast and Furious kind of series. They could have did multiple episodes with that. It wasn't that bad, and even the acting in it was, but they was like so hyped up on the visuals for that movie that they put more money into making it look pretty. And as Taylor pointed out to us earlier, they didn't put enough care into the story that was being told as they did to how it was gonna look. And
like it was very clear they were like inspired by like 90s Japanese like advertising, because like the speed of the movie, like the zoom ins, the cuts, like even like the way the lines would like talk, it was just very like acid dream, like 90s Japanese, like when you see those like weird commercials of like actors who went over to Japan and did these like weird commercials for sodas that you never heard of before, like Sylvester Stallone and stuff. It felt like one of those. And so I don't know, like seeing that for 30 seconds is cool, but 2 hours and no plot is kind of just like, let's slow this down for a bit.
I mean, the cartoon was kind of the same way though.
Yeah.
But that was a 30-minute cartoon.
Yeah.
And the whole thing wasn't like that.
Yeah. And even that, like, that there were parts of the cartoon that still kind of like take you out. Like, right. They take you out and things happen and it's okay. Like, and it's so it's like you're distracted by some of this other weird shit that's happening because it's like 80s anime, and all 80s anime is like really, really fucking weird. It's great, and some of it's a little
like a random monkey character.
you know, some of it can really, really, really go left, but
Now,
it's a
I
lot
got
of
one
good
for you.
shit.
I got one for you. As far as you're talking 80s anime and stuff, as far as recent anime, I'd like to plug Love, Death, and Robots.
Hell yeah.
There are some shorts on there that I would love to see turned into series. So
I could, yeah.
there, I mean, not necessarily even the. I mean, there's some on Star Wars Visions that I want to see them expand on. There's the boys that some of these anthologies that have come out lately have really pushed the envelope as far as animation, CGI, the green screen effect, all that kind of stuff.
Well, if we're doing
interested.
shout outs, I got to shout out Arcane on Netflix.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
It's in my list. It's in my list.
You need to see
Yeah.
it.
Actually, come to think of it, just because like Legend of Vox Machina was damn good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Arcane was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the stuff that is coming out now, you know what I'm saying? We're getting a lot of good shit right now.
They're getting creators who are actually fans of the franchise to make it, and so it's staying true to the spirit, but still being like a fucking great story.
Right. And obviously that's in most cases that's really all it takes. It takes someone to take time to just like there's plenty of good stories. Yeah, there's plenty of good stories out there. And you know what? Matter of fact, here we go, full circle. So I watched one of the Fantastic Beasts series today, right? Like so, or this was yesterday.
Fantastic Four.
No,
So you already lost me.
Wait. No, until my Fantastic Four movie gets made, until my Fantastic Four comedy, and I've got some thoughts. We'll talk later, but until my Fantastic Fan Cast movie gets made, I don't know how much support they're gonna get out of me unless they like really come through with like a really strong director, and I need it to be a comedy moving forward because the serious shit I can't take the Fantastic Four serious on screen anymore. So you just need to go to Thor Ragnarok route and like understand what you have, work inside your element, and make that shit a comedy. Like keep it just you have to be able to laugh at yourself if stretching is your power. Now we can get real deep and we can say that, like, you know, okay, it's the smartest man, blah, 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 blah. I know and understand. Y'all got me completely derailed from my original point. Let me back it up. Okay. Jeff and his damn Fantastic Four. Don't get me on my Fantastic Four right now. Okay.
I just made a harmless comment.
Right, but we fan casted Fantastic Four, and I'm still excited about our fan casting. We like damn near wrote the movie. We did. It was the three of us. We did this the other day.
Yeah.
So y'all know why I got excited. Anyway, Fantastic Beasts. So I watched The Secrets of Dumbledore, and I did not. I won't spoil anything. I know you.
Okay.
Same. Yeah.
I won't spoil it because it just came to HBO Max, but let me just say that like I have not watched all of the Harry Potter movies, and I have.
What?
Right. That is my geek omission.
What?
Like,
Me either.
What?
yes. No, I have not.
I gotta go, guys. Later.
You know
Which
what?
I will be having to go soon because everybody here at the house is going to
Same.
bed. So
Yeah.
And I get that, and I still gotta watch episode 3 of Kenobi. So, but like it was something about Harry Potter, and I couldn't put my finger on what it was. It was just something about Harry Potter that never quite captured me. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this is really weird because I really like watching like Doctor Strange, and what is it about it? And it's not that they're not good stories, because apparently these were phenomenal books and whatnot, and we won't elaborate past that, but like the stories themselves are supposed to be really, really good. And I know that the stories are usually better than the movies and that kind of thing. But even there are people who like really like the movies as well. And I'm just like, every time I sit down to watch one, I'm like, why do y'all like this? And I like fantasy, I like sci-fi, I like medieval, I like other realm. You know what I'm saying? So I could not figure out why I had such a hard time.
Hold on. Did you just try to compare Harry Potter to Mortal Kombat?
No, when I say other realm, I mean like things that are not my day to day. I like fantasy.
Okay.
Not nether realm, other realms. But I mean, I do like Mortal Kombat though. But ultimately, I figured out what it was, and it was the fact that like in Harry Potter, you're watching the kids go to school and do things. They're learning how to do their magic. In Fantastic Beasts, everyone's a fucking wizard already.
Okay. I'm going to throw out an idea, and I'm wondering if it will stick. Now that you're back in class, do you think seeing a movie about people in class would be hit different? Because I can understand where it's like, this is geared at kids, and I'm not a kid anymore.
I like kid stuff, and I don't really fuck with Harry Potter like that.
Ultimately, what it is, the fantasy element of, like, what would be the best way to say it? Like, it is a teenage coming of age story. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure after like the first 3 movies, if I like really truly sit through all 3 of them beginning to end, that I'll have a little bit more time invested into the characters, and I've watched them grow through a series of movies. And if I get through the first 3, 1, 2, 3, I'll then be required to watch the remainder because it's just a thing at that point.
You've already invested.
Right. I'm now invested and have to see the outcome, even though I kind of know, but it's like I have to know how we got there. Whereas I was watching this last movie, I was very impressed by the visuals that I got. I was very impressed by everyone's capability, the level of magic, and the display of magic to like see people doing magic. And if the conversation, if you know, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, like I'll try to maybe give that one another chance. When I tried to watch that the first time, I was like, are we really watching a movie about a magic zoo? I don't know that I'm interested in this. This doesn't really seem to hold my attention. But I had my son kind of explain to me the importance of that movie and what it sets up and some of the different people. Then we talk about the crimes of Grindelwald and everything that takes place through that. And so having watched the end, now I'm kind of like, oh, no, I have to go back and see that because I have to know how we got to this point. And why is this character important? And why is that character important? Oh, and Zoe Kravitz is in the second one? Hell, say less. I'll check it out.
So basically, you're a Harry Potter now.
I am on Fantastic Beasts, which is not the same as Harry Potter, as I understand. It's like if you're a fan of The Hobbit, that doesn't automatically make you a fan of Lord of the Rings. And because they're different stories that are being told.
So you like, what's the dude name? The main dude?
Dumbledore.
The dude, what is his name? I don't know. He's the biggest person on the poster. I'm assuming he's the main character.
Well,
Newt, you talking about Fantastic Beasts?
Newt Scamander.
So you got Newt.
I'm out.
Dumbledore. Appreciate it, Dave. We'll holler at you later.
Take care, Dave.
Episode 3. Check it.
Will do.
Yeah, I still feel like Newt's a really weird character, but it fits for the role that he's in. That's good casting, and since no one else has done that role, I don't have anything to compare to, so it makes sense for him. I thought Dumbledore, a younger Dumbledore, I like Jude Law. He's a good actor, so and Mads Mikkelsen was just like fucking Mads Mikkelsen. Like, what's not to like? So, yeah, I was actually. Now I'm gonna tell you, this was kind of crazy. Ezra Miller's in it, and I was like, oh, so he cannot be an asshole at times. It is possible. He actually has done some acting before. Oh, okay. Because I had not watched anything else that Ezra Miller had done prior to him being in Justice League. So to me, he was kind of an unknown, but apparently this was a thing that he did. And
I saw him in Confessions of a Teenage Wallflower. He was good in that. It's a very interesting movie, but it's not
Emma Watson.
It was.
Yeah, Emma Watson.
I think so. I don't know. I'm gonna be real. Like some of those girls, all they It's the same girl.
Yeah. I mean, there's very little difference. No. Perks of being a wallflower.
Perks of being a wallflower.
Yeah, perks of being a wallflower. I was like, Confessions of no, it's like Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen was the first thing that came. I was like, no, that's not that. Wait, what? But
Yeah.
Perks of being a wallflower. Okay, and I will have to make it a point to. Have I seen that one? I feel like I haven't seen that because I don't know who. Like I said, I don't know who Ezra Miller is right off. So
I don't think it's like. I don't know. Maybe you do watch stuff like this, but I don't think it's from what we've discussed. I don't really think it's like your cup of tea.
It's probably, but see, keep in mind now, I found out that's probably something my daughter would have watched, and as a result, it's a very good chance that I may have seen it because that is like some of that bonding time I have with her. So that's why I know, because she was the one that was watching Riverdale with me at first. She's Gossip Girl. She's the one that had me watching Gossip Girl. I enjoyed that. And of course, like the guy from Gossip Girl ended up being Joe in You. So I was like, hell yeah, I can't wait to watch that because I remember him from that show and he was great in that. And of course, like he had such an interesting love life in Gossip Girl that I kind of knew where we was going with him being in You. But oddly enough, I'd already read You before it was ever a TV series. So that was kind of crazy to me that was like such a big deal. And then of course the sequel book to that. So I mean, I used to have this nice little drive to Atlanta and I live in Covington. So that was like a good hour and a half because of traffic. And I would do a lot of audiobooks and I went through a whole segment of audiobooks. And You was one of the audio series that I went through. So I definitely am interested in cinema. So I'm open to if you told me right now Perks of Being a Wallflower was a good movie, it would get added to my list. I would watch it.
It was I think it just depends on like I think it's definitely one of those movies where it depends on like what kind of emotional baggage you're bringing to watching it.
Okay.
That's fair.
Like if you're the kind of person who got every girl you wanted in high school, this movie's not gonna bother you. But
500 Days of Summer or what's the other one with Jim Carrey?
Yes, man.
Eternal or Spotless Mind. Yeah.
Yes. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, something like that. Now, those, just based on what you're saying and what I kind of believe I thought the movie was about, if those two movies fall into the same category, then yeah, Perks of Being a Wallflower is absolutely something I would watch. And it may be shocking that I just didn't get to it.
Yeah, I would say you might enjoy checking it out.
So I'm gonna.
And that's how I said might. I just want to commit.
So I gotta go to work.
I heard you say might. You didn't want to commit. You might enjoy it.
Jeff, we appreciate you being on, man. Thanks so much for your insight. And we got to figure out how to get a Yoda movie going, man.
I know. But we'll talk about that next week, I'm sure.
Sounds good. Holla at you, brother. So, yeah, I mean, if he that does make me leery. He won't commit, like, because I'd be like, no, that's a good movie.
No, because my thing is this: I had a very emotional reaction to it. So it was not the kind of movie where I can fairly critique like the actual movie because of like the way the movie made me feel overwhelmed, like what I thought about, what I could even process or think about the movie. But that's just me and my weird way of like internalizing some art.
I can understand that because the movie for me that does that, strangely enough, is Encanto.
Yeah.
Like that hits me in some emotional feels on so many levels.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of families sitting grandma down to watch Encanto but with the secret like mission of like, yo, you need to be watching this too, grandma.
You need to apologize.
Right, not even that, just like wow.
Yeah, just see how your actions can affect people.
And you know what? That's probably going to happen in some cases, like the see what you can take away from this kind of thing. Let's see. I don't know. Let's what movie for me? I think one that I probably connect on differently is just like it's a really really weird Spike Lee movie. It's not even like one of the good ones, but like he got game. And ironically, I'm
My
not.
favorite Spike Lee movie.
It's like I'm not an athlete, but the whole like parental dynamic between Jesus Shuttleworth and his dad, like I mean there's some some stuff going on there emotionally with that movie as a
Nothing to
result,
get you in therapy like seeing a movie and making you cry.
And so
Yeah. Fucking fences, man. I was a wreck.
yeah.
I was like, please don't turn these lights on in this theater.
But you know what's really weird? I have found, and I don't know if it was
just my imagination.
right, like, but it's weird because it's like I don't know if this happened as I got older, but like I've
It's being a dad.
it absolutely.
That's
And
the shit
see,
that makes you start crying.
I'm gonna tell you, I've been a dad for 24 years, so yeah, I just noticed that like I be feeling feelings and shit, and I'd be like, "What is this?" But it goes far, it's definitely like love for another in general that does that because as far back as and I'm about to like really date my damn self, the Incredible Journey, and
Okay.
then they did a remake of the Incredible Journey just to kind of modernize it. And I remember Michael J. Fox was the voice of one of the Homeward Bound. That was the remake.
Yeah.
Homeward Bound. Okay.
The
Yeah.
original movie was called The Incredible Journey, and then they did a remake and it was Homeward Bound. And let me tell you, The Incredible Journey was tough, even as a young me. Old Yeller was one of those like tough as a young me because I had pets, I had a dog and stuff. And so, but by the time we got around to like Homeward Bound and I had a golden retriever, I was a wreck. I could not watch that movie. And I was, just ugly crying when this movie was on to the point where it's like, I don't even watch it. And for a long time, that was kind of like the secret guilty pleasure movie. It's like, I watch it. That's like the only movie that makes me cry. Now I'd be like,
Cathartic release.
wait a minute. Now, as an adult with adult children, I gotta be careful because if somebody saves somebody the right way, man, oh look at that. They
It's raining in here.
Yeah, that was a pretty good movie. Like, oh man, did y'all enjoy that movie? Ooh, I am tired. I thought I was gonna fall asleep. My eyes all watering and stuff. Man, it was but it's just like anytime you just see that emotion on screen and people like just doing the right thing and loving one another and not being assholes and stuff like that, it is just such a moving thing. And it is so fantastic. And like I said, we've gotten to the point now where not every movie is going to have a happy ending, and we're starting to see that. And we're definitely getting much more mature stories. But yeah, I think you know what? Like when I watch, I'm at the point now where it's like damn near every animated kids movie with a good story could catch me if they caught me at the right scene. Because like
that's why we need more musicals, because people act like they don't like musicals, and then everybody's singing Encanto. It's like, no, Encanto is a musical. You like musicals. What you don't like is La La Land because it's bad. Even though it was nominated for whatever, like the music in it is cool. However, it is a musical starring people who cannot sing and cannot dance. Ergo, it's not ever going to be like quality. But then like you watch old ones where people like knew what they were doing, and they knew like music is always going to be a better way to emote something than people talking. And the reality is like a lot of your favorite moments in movies are the way they are, and you remember them the way you remember them because of the music, whether it was an actual song playing. So like Everybody know that song from Ghost. What?
Mm-hmm.
In the pottery kiln. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure the pottery business hasn't seen numbers like that in forever. But
your touch.
Yeah, it's like stuff like that. I mean, we were talking about the Star Wars thing earlier today.
Yeah.
But then if for some reason, like, you act like you don't like listening to John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John sing Summer Lovin'. Like, come on, my guy.
Yeah,
Who are you fooling? Who are you
what kind of
fooling
unsweet
right now?
food are you trying to present here?
Yeah. I mean, realistically, and there's actually a whole science behind the way we interact with music. And somebody can correct me later if they want to look this up and find it, but I want to say there's like sonic dissonance has an actual effect on people. And there's this podcast I listen to. It's called Dissect, and Cole Kushner goes through like all of this. He was like a music major or like a music history major, something like that, and then he got into something else and blah blah blah. Anyway, he takes like full albums and he analyzes these albums, breaks them down song by song. Each episode is a song, and he goes through to kind of give you why they did this, what this means, what this song is probably interpreted to be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the really cool things he does is he, of course, since he's a music history major, he breaks down how the music impacts the song. And there's a word or a term for that. Everybody kind of thinks like, when nails on a chalkboard, that it makes my skin crawl, right?
Right.
But
I just thought of it and I got chills.
Right. Now, music can have the same effect. And there's actually a word for it. It's called frisson. That feeling, it's just this is the random hour with Sam and Ty and Jeff. We're going to talk about random shit, learn something. You walk away smarter than you came in. But frisson is in fact literally, it's that sudden feeling of excitement or fear, or like when you have the goosebump, like when I said that feeling you had, that is frisson. Music is one of the things that is known for causing frisson, which is why oftentimes if you are like, you'll see people who are like super hard and whatnot, they hear a certain musical selection and like you can't help but to react to it. It is uncontrollable. That's frisson. And frisson is powerful shit. So there are different things in songs that are done from a scientific standpoint that give us that feeling. And that's why music is so powerful. So I agree with you, Jeff. Anybody who says they don't like musicals, low-key lying. You like music, ergo, you like movies? Yeah. You like music? Yeah. Your ass like musicals.
And it's like you haven't it's like people like, I don't like musicals, but we watch The Wiz. The Wiz is a musical, bro. You can't, like, that's what people like to do. They like to be like, I don't like musicals, but then when you start naming musicals they're like, but I don't really consider that. Well, okay, you don't consider it a musical, but
it is a musical. It's under the category of musical, ergo.
They didn't say, hey, okay, let's ease on down the road. Cut scene, they're walking. No, we had a whole
dance segment. Right.
We had a whole big to do about how we gonna walk down the street. Okay, that is a musical. If anything is a musical, that's a musical. So,
here's what I will say about crying to movies. Encanto was the first one that I've actually like cried watching. It was the first one. But I've been going through therapy, and I think like that was just kind of like the release. And then like I just watched Big Hero 6, and I started crying in that one. I was like, holy shit! Like it's just whenever it's because you have music that can pull at your emotions, it'll pull on these memories. But when you're able to finally relate to the pain that they're feeling, like empathize, like truly empathize, like that gets me down.
You know what? I would have to say, like, I was when I saw everything with the grandma, when I saw the flame, I'm gonna tell you what did it for me was having her own damn doorknob. Like, whew, like that was a very heavy moment because it's like when you've gone through this entire movie and you watch and you see that she's not special. You know what I'm saying? And you get to this moment where none of this would have been possible without her. And when, you know, when the house comes back to life and it's, everything starts taking place and they all get ready to walk back up and he hands her the doorknob. Like, like,
I want to rephrase what you said. She went through the entire movie and you saw her being unseen. And at the very end of the movie where she's finally being seen.
yeah.
Yeah. So I cried when she's literally telling her grandma, open your eyes while she's singing that. I cried when you had Louisa. I was like, am I going to be worthless if I can't be of service?
Right.
That one hit really hard. And then I can't remember the other one. It was like 3 times in that movie I fucking cried. I was like, what the hell? My wife's like, you cried in this movie? You didn't cry at her wedding? I got in trouble for it.
Like, it was different. This movie was good. No, I'm just playing.
You're like, I like this movie.
I wanted to be here. I paid for this. Like, I'm gonna get the most out of this. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's like I definitely think that being able to relate, being able to empathize, being able to, in a sense, see yourself in the characters, or have that similar experience that you can call
when you're
upon.
able to relive your own pain.
Yeah, dude. That definitely it will affect how you see something, how you view something, how you watch something. If you've ever had, either one of y'all have older siblings.
Yep.
Nah, I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. Okay, then Jeff, you
and
may
the humblest too, right?
And the what?
And the humblest.
The best.
Right there it is. There it is. So imagine, like, I am absolutely the middle kid. You know what I'm saying? I have 2 older. I've got 2 younger. I mean, technically, I've got 7 brothers and sisters, like half step, this, that, the other. You know what I'm saying? And I'm an only child on top of that. So I have like a lot of different experiences as a sibling. I've had the experience being the baby. I've had the experience being the oldest. I've had the experience being a stepbrother. I've had the experience being a real brother. I've had every experience as a sibling, and all of them suck. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I give middle kids a pass in my head just because, like, that is the most invisible child. You're not the oldest, so no responsibility is placed on you. You're not the baby, so you're not pampered. When you're a middle kid, you can just like hide and no one notices right away. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I think that there's a difference between boy middle children versus girl middle children. And that's the thing. And I think, like, if having something that other people can relate to is very difficult. And I am married to a middle child. You know what I'm saying? My wife's a middle kid. I'm a middle kid. And we've been married 24 years. And I wonder if she was an only child or if she was the oldest. Like, would there be that same relatability? Because I think that we would see each other a different way. We would, and I think, like, when you said being seen for Maribel, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's amazing how you can really start to see these characters differently. It's an animated cartoon for kids, blah, blah, blah. Nah, at this point, we can't even call none of this stuff that's out for kids anymore, because when it's well written, it's for anybody who goes to see it.
Yeah.
And
now I gotta ask, how many kids do you have?
3.
So for the middle child, is that your favorite?
I love all my children equally.
But off the record,
I love some of them more on certain days than others. Like,
do you
all 3
relate
of my kids,
to your middle kid more than the others?
I understand him more than I think he believes I understand him. because I do find now that I'm a parent, I'm in that situation where it's like, okay, I kind of get and understand. She's fine. She's gonna bark. Come here. I get and understand why middle kids are treated the way they are. It's not their fault. It's not that they've done anything. They're not good people. They're not bad people. They're not the oldest. So you just inherently put the responsibility on the oldest. They're the oldest. You know what I'm saying? You learn and you set your rules and you plan everything around that oldest kid. That was where your practice came in. By the time your middle kid comes in, you start to kind of you get it. You know you've had a little practice. And then the baby's the baby. So the baby's always going to be the baby. So it's not that the middle kid gets ignored intentionally or he's being left out or she's being left out. They're the middle. So I would say,
but also like in a lot of cases too, they used to be the baby and they were getting all the baby privileges. And then the new baby came and it was like, you don't get nothing.
Well, I will say here's the other thing that happens, and this is coming from a middle kid, so trust me. The middle kid is often feel like they only get hand-me-downs. They usually don't feel like they get a lot of new stuff because the older sibling got something.
Yeah.
And when the older sibling gets something new, I can get the old one. So they don't get as much of the new stuff. And as time passes on, it probably won't last long enough for the baby to get it. So the baby's going to get a new one also.
Yep.
So the middle kid doesn't get new stuff, always gets a hand-me-down. So they always feel like
not good enough.
They're right. Like they always feel like they must not be good enough to get new shit because they never get new shit. The oldest gets new shit because they're the oldest. The youngest gets new shit because the shit doesn't last until they can get it. So they have no choice but to get new shit. That middle kid does end up feeling like they get passed over a lot of times. And so what I will say that I do knowingly is I have to make it a point for him to see that he is getting this because he is getting this.
Yeah.
Not because, and it's like I try to explain, like, I'm not doing this because I did this for your brother. I'm not doing this because I did this for your sister. I'm doing this because I am doing this for you. That's it. And there are still situations where
it's not about equality, it's about love.
The oldest is the oldest and still has the oldest responsibilities. The baby is still the baby and still gets treated like the baby. And the middle kid is the middle kid and still going to do middle kid things. And I get when he does middle kid things, because I will also say that as middle children, oftentimes some of that should be our fault because we so running around jaded with a chip on our shoulder and don't express that we just disappear and ghost on your ass and go do our own thing because obviously you didn't think enough to include me in your plan. But you know what I'm saying? Like we get into this whole little world of our own.
And then you show up and you're like, oh, this surprise party is for me. It's like, yeah, this is what we was trying to tell you about before you went on your tirade.
Right. And it's like, oh, well, if someone had just told me it's a surprise party, you know. But again, and that's kind of what it is. But it's almost like
the sitcom stereotype, man. We got to break that.
You know I don't like surprises.
Right.
Surprises
but at the same time, I was about to say it's also one of those things where like everything you do for a middle kid kind of has to be a surprise party because it's almost like, I know I wasn't. I can't speak for other middle kids, but I know I was never waiting around. Like I wanted to be invited, but because I wasn't invited, I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And so
I'm 4 out of 5. So no, I get that.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, because I wasn't invited, I didn't want to go. So I would just be ghost. And then when I found out everybody went to the lake today, well, didn't nobody tell me we was going to the lake. Well, you weren't here. Well, if you had told me we was going to the lake, maybe I would have went. Maybe I would have been here to go. And so you kind of
how we was gonna tell you wasn't here.
Right, but it's like
a secret. But I thought you had no plans for me, so I made plans.
And it's like it's a circle, it's a cycle, it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so it becomes one of those things where it's like my parents kind of got to the point where like they just made their plans. They did not include me in their plans, they just made their plans. And all the while, all I wanted was a damn invite. That's all I wanted. Just tell me we doing this. Tell me I have to go. Let me like pout and be upset that I'm there and have a great time when I get there. But like, don't always give me the option. Because if you give me the option, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Oh, y'all finna be gone. I got the house to myself. Yeah, y'all have a good time. I'm gonna holler. And it seemed like y'all didn't want me there. Did nobody care if I was there or not? Y'all still had a good time. Everything went on. Woo, 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 woo. So it's
Y'all
time
got
went on.
ice cream.
Right. You got sprinkles too. Come on. But it's like
it would have melted in the car.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where it's like my perception of the situation was I was not missed. Therefore, it didn't matter if I went or not. I made my own plans since I was not told about the plans. Obviously, you didn't include me in them since you felt the need not to tell me. Y'all went, y'all did, y'all had a good time. I knew nothing about it. You assumed I wasn't going to go, so you didn't tell me. Now we just trapped in this cycle of like who's really to blame. We both wrong. Ain't no right in this situation. We both wrong because either one of us could have done anything differently. I try to do better with mine and like express, hey, this day, this thing, this is what's happening. Any family event function that we're gonna have, I try to make sure they're aware of it, they know of it, and tell all of them. And I am very much aware that as a middle child, I have to like reach out separately. I have to reach out differently to my middle kid. And it's again, and I just have to tell them all the time, like, you think I don't understand, but I do. Better than you. And imagine being a middle kid to 7. Like, boy, I'm so stuck in the middle, you will never know what I've experienced. You got an older brother and a younger sister. You ain't got 2 highly successful, much more improved older versions of you. An older sister. You ain't got it as bad as you think you got it, okay? Trust me. And then it's like, okay, I can't trivialize. This is just why it's hard having adult children these days, because it's like, all my kids are millennials, so it's like I'd be like, you ain't got it that bad. It ain't as bad as I have, so I can't invalidate their feelings. Oh my God.
It's hard no matter what age. Like, probably the best advice I ever got was like, it doesn't get easier, it just gets different. It's always hard. Yeah. Like my 4-year-old, he has this thing where it's like if he thinks he's in trouble, he cries. So literally, we're playing in the bed and we're having a time, and he ends up accidentally like hitting me in the face, and I went ow, and then he starts crying. I hurt his feelings because I expressed pain, and it's like, motherfucker, you have it so easy.
Like you hit me.
Like I yeah. It's like, you hurt my feelings. Say sorry. I'm like, bitch, you hit my face. And it's like, he has it so good. He's so loved.
Yeah.
That he doesn't get it. And it's like, man, I gotta fucking scar my kid.
I made it a point to, I won't say intentionally, although that might be a lie if I don't say that. But I made it a point for my kids to like have to suffer through some shit just so that they would have the character building of suffering through some shit. You know what I'm saying? There are times when my daughter wanted to be a sneakerhead when she was in school. And I'm like, you too broke to be a sneakerhead. You ain't got no job. Like, you a kid. You're a child. You don't get to be a sneaker. You know when you get to be a sneakerhead? When you can buy sneakers. How about that? And so it was like, we would make it a point, and she'd get like, she wanted some Jordans. Okay, your birthday's coming up, Christmas coming up. You knock these chores out, you earn up a little money, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. We can do that. But this is what it's going to take. Not because they knew and your friends got them and you want them. We not getting sucked into that, because what you're not gonna do is be up here having whole like life moments because you don't get this new pair, and we just bought a pair. Why you got a shoe app on your phone? You ain't got no job, And it's like those are the kind of things that I had to do, and I had to like be mean and be hard like that, even though it was like I got a friend that work at the shoe store and I could easily get them. But no, like
I
I
gotta
don't
send you
want
this
you
video.
to.
There's a comedian named Kevin Bozeman, and he has this bit where it's like, like my kids, they want weird things. Like my kids, like I want a parrot. I feel like I'm doing good enough. And it's like, all right, here's what I'll do. If you get all A's, I'll give you $20 per A. So after 2 years, you'll have $20. I'll pitch in the last $100 and you can get your parrot. He wasn't planning on doing that because he was like, my kid ain't gonna get all A's. And then the kid comes home with this report card. He's crying. It's like, I got 3 A's and 2 B's. I'm never gonna get this parrot. He's like, what? Try harder. Just like fucking with him. And like, look, like it's you gotta scar your kid. But I think you'd really enjoy him. He's fun.
I mean, but no, I absolutely understand the logic to that. If nothing else, you want to see them put forth the effort. I can't tell you the number of times. Here we go. We back to that middle kid. You know what? If I was to really just go in on this middle kid, we could do a whole episode on just middle kids. But like,
I think middle kid needs to be therapized.
He probably does. We could do it together. But like, at one point, it was like, once a gaming computer and whatnot. And I told him one time, I said, I had to tell you what. Here's a website you can go to that will tell you if all of these components work together. You go here, you can pick out the components and, build a computer on that. It's basically like a simulator. Let me see you build one on that. Let's make sure you know what parts to get, da, 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 da. First 2-3 years, he wouldn't even do that. Like, I already told you, I'll help you get the computer. You got to pick the parts. This is the step. I'm not just going to, like, because you want a gaming computer, just run out to the store or even, I can fully build one, but I'm not just going to, like, buy these parts, have them shipped here, spend my time, effort, energy building this computer for you to, like, be locked away in your room. And
you don't get to make plans
like,
and then make me do all the work.
Yeah, no. So I need you to, like, go basically PC part picker, pick the parts, make sure everything is compatible, send me the list. Yeah, I've literally done this like 4 or 5 times. And when I tell you there's never the follow through on that end. And it's like at the end of it, it's like, you know what? I'm not going to be the bad guy because this was all you had to do. I used to tell my daughter, like, you want these shoes? Tell you what, you come up with, how much are they? 100 and what? Okay, you come up with half. You come up with half, I'll pay the other half because now I'm not going over my shoe budget. And I just remember that was what my mother did. And because I was one of those kids that, like, I wanted the Deion Sanders. They were $125. My mom just looked at me. She said, you want what? For how much? Oh, no. And I walked right over there, picked up my Batman Converse, and I was traumatized as a result. Kids was not as accepting of Batman Converses back in the early 90s. So it was a whole experience. And I promise you that feeling of shoes burning to my head. So the last thing you will ever see me be is a sneakerhead. I tell you right now, I have every pair of shoes that I buy be like whatever is on clearance that fits my foot inside Foot Locker. I don't care nothing about the latest, greatest. Don't care.
I want to be comfortable, and that's it.
I'm a sneakerhead.
But you can be a sneakerhead. You can afford to be. That is a choice. You can afford to be a sneakerhead. Because you know what? But let me tell you something.
Expensive.
It is expensive. And you make that. Okay. Let me tell you how you a sneakerhead. Look at my wall. Look at your wall. You a sneakerhead. I'm not. It's the same money. We just spending it different.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? It's like if that is the thing and you put it in your budget. Because I look at people who like
I'm a whiskey head. Like I was like, what do I spend my money on? I just got this bottle of whiskey. It's a bourbon that's finished aging in like a sherry cask. Or it's got sherry cask staves in it. And it's fucking smooth.
And let me tell you, some of those bottles, they not cheap. Because my brother-in-law puts me up on. I go over there and we have a whatever new bottle he gets, he wants to sample and we're gonna try and we'll have. So like, I got him a one of those rocks, the ice, the one round
cube. The ice mold. Yeah.
So I got him some ice molds. and whatnot. That was last gift I got for him. Just because it's like, okay, you will probably use. I have stones. I just have stones in my freezer. Very simple.
I got both, and I'll tell you why. Because there's some whiskey, it opens up and gets like a better flavor with just a little bit of water, and if you have a
Right.
big ice mold, it's getting just a little bit of water at a time instead of just crushed ice and it's just melting and watering it down.
Oh no,
Uh,
I'm fully aware. I know the difference,
okay.
and that's like for those who are listening and don't know, continue.
And then whiskey stones, they're just gonna make your whiskey chilled, which is a good thing. But yeah, some whiskeys don't do better with a little bit of water. Open it up. Others do. But
And
yeah,
so,
I got it all. I got whiskey stones. I got ice molds. I got the huge cube ones. Got the sphere ones.
yeah, see, I have two stones, and I had the mold I bought it was like a 3-pack mold. It is a large cube, it's the large round, and then it is the small round.
Okay.
And apparently that's like the 3 type that you would need or get or some shit. I don't know.
Really? I mean, there's a small cube as well. But those are if you're doing like a thin highball.
Gotcha. I think
Wait, no, it's like a long, like rectangular, rectangular prism, and it just fits into a high glass. And that's a really cool one.
Pour around it. Okay, now I got to find that one. That's pretty cool. So I told you, man, you send me the recipe, tell me what I need to do, what I need to buy, and on the next episode of Whiskalodian, I will chime in via. Oh wow, Roberto got some Star Wars kicks. He got the hello there. He got the hello there 12s. We'll call it the hello there 12s. But
so we're testing doing the remote style. So once I have that, because we have the guy that heads up What's Inside My Head podcast, and then one from Jedi Talks. And so if we can get that down to where our audio sounds great, just the process of grabbing your audio and importing it, yeah, I just want to have you on. So
cool. So once this your buddy that does the Star Wars thing, once our episode airs, you can let him know. He can hop on that. When's the next episode of Whiskalodian? When do those episodes air?
So we got 9 episodes out now. Season 2 we're going to start recording at the end of this month, and then we'll be releasing starting July. Is it July 12th?
July 12th. You got something coming up?
Yeah. July 12th is when we're launching episode 1 of season 2. And then we'll be releasing every Tuesday.
Okay, and currently, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 6 episodes up. Oh, wait, there's an arrow.
There should be 9.
Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, decade that passed us. Is that the last one? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as I do for everybody else, let me go ahead and get my share up. Jeff, send me a link for anything I need to promote for you, because you always got something dope in the pipeline. I know we got therapy coming up. We got a new episode of therapy that's getting ready to drop. You can find that at the Grown A Geeks YouTube channel. Ty here, you can catch him. Where is it? It is this one. There we go. I gotta take these things off where it makes me see all this other stuff. But yes, you can catch him right here at the Whiskalodian podcast. And let me tell y'all something. This the Keenan and Kel and the Good Burger episode, 2 of my favorites. But that stew, that was the introduction episode. That kind of had like that set the tone, and it let me know exactly what I was in for, and it was really good. The episodes with the psychiatrist, or excuse me, the psychologist, those were good episodes as well. So I've enjoyed this. I do have to go back and do the Double Dare episode, and this is the newest one, the Orange Years, the decade that passed us. So plan on getting on to that. Yeah, so there's my chill hop and my grown ape geeks. I can see all my stuff. And Caleb 55. And don't judge me, my Dr. Sarah Lee, aka Dr. Pimple Popper. That's
I just started getting to those. I'm like, why is this so addicting to watch?
the weird thing, that was one of those things. I saw them through reels, and
yeah, same.
I messed up and watched like 2-3 reels in a row. And after watching those reels, it was like, wait a minute, this is a thing I gotta do. I gotta see this. What? This is crazy. No, she got a whole page. Yeah, I gotta check this out. So again, I just think like I like having these videos up the way they are, where they are just like completely live videos, and it goes the full segment. They can go check this out. But I will be going in and doing more clips of these. So that's why I always want to make it a point to like have these moments so I can go through. That's why I was like, hit me with a timestamp. In case it gets flagged for that, it'll be available. But I want to give like all the props right here. I call him my creative director. The man is super talented. This is the 85 apparelco.com.
Yeah. So there's a podcast, 85 South Show, Carlos Miller, DC Youngfly, Chico Bean, Clayton English, a bunch of other people. And I designed the merch for them. They have like a clothing line that we're kind of taking from just like the merch space into kind of just like having a brand. So I've been working on that.
Is Chico being a comedian?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, they're all comedians.
Like, I know that name.
Yeah, they're all comedians. They're all on like Wildin' Out. That's where probably most people know them from.
Burpee, actually, I'm upset. He was on Wildin' Out as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is just all stuff that, we sell for the merch and for the show. People seem to like it, so we're making more. But anybody interested, go ahead and hit that up.
There you go. Let's see. So I'm going to boom. Now, in addition, that is one thing, but there is other stuff that is out there, and this is the artwork of Jeffrey Taylor Jr. This is just
that's just like my personal site, and just like I just needed somewhere to have like my online portfolio and stuff. And yeah, just like I try to update it at least like monthly to add like new projects. But you can see I have it kind of broken down to like apparel, illustration, all that kind of stuff. And just put old stuff up there. I mean, some of this stuff is...
I love this Frank Miller cover right here. I want you to know, that is dope. I have not seen this.
Yeah, that is dope.
Some of this stuff I'm like, I need to redraw it before I like would ever consider like selling it or anything like that. But maybe not. Maybe it's just being what it is okay. And
just as long as you're not doing NFTs, man.
Oh no, I'm not messing with none of that digital age stuff. I'm staying right here in the corporeal world.
Okay. Not the Rick James album. Love it. Okay. So this is where so there is apparel and like.
So yeah, the apparel stuff is just like all the apparel projects that I've worked on, stuff that's been like sold into stores or that brands actually have picked up and like bought. So I have it broken down by retailer. I think Box Lunch is probably the one I have the most stuff in, but there's some cool stuff in there and some collections that I helped like spearhead. Yeah. It's just kind of an online portfolio, you know.
All right, you got
That's
that
what's up.
right there. Oh, look at that one. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna have to do like, oh no,
Oh yeah, that's
no.
one that I send to like companies, and I'll send them the password and stuff.
Oh
And
no,
then
I'm with it.
and this is just my little online shop. I made a bunch of like t-shirts for my high school, Southwest DeKalb, and then just some other stuff that I have up randomly. I got a few other things I'm gonna just be putting up soon. I just gotta like put them together. So yeah.
That's really dope, man. Like I knew the site was there, and I think I like shared a link one time. I didn't know it was like that deep, so we got to clip this out for sure,
Yeah.
and let the people see what it all is and what it's really doing out there. So, do we have different items on this one? Uh, okay, those two are the same. Gotcha. All right, I just want to make sure because I was like, "What's this other link here?" But yeah, that one is. I think I hit that page before we left. So cool. Well, that's what's up, man. Yeah, this is my promotion right here. So I appreciate y'all being here. This is what I do, and this is how I'm trying to not go to work every day.
Right.
Because I see the traction and I love the energy and I love the vibes that we have from the group, and I will eventually get to a point where I am like maybe sitting at my desk a little bit more often, and as a result, I will have a little bit better title cards and things like that. I will play with some of this stuff because even today, like, look at the ticker there. We were supposed to talk about Gotham Knights, and if Lyndon Dave came on, we was gonna talk about Pokemon teams, and I got my little card, but I was gonna have like little. I'm thinking like I need intro cards because this is eventually gonna be like a talk show. That's exactly what it's gonna be. Right now, it's weigh-in Wednesdays. I have a few guests here and there, but it's going to end up just being I want it to be syndicated. I want to be on like channel 11 at midnight. I don't care. They can bring back G4 TV. I'll do it there, whatever. But YouTube, Twitch, that has shown me do this shit ourselves, and I'm all for it. So I want to thank you for watching. You who are at home, who are watching, tell your friends about it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that QR code in the corner. Join us every Wednesday until further notice. I'm gonna be here. If I'm not here, somebody. That's the plan. If I'm not here, somebody be here. Wednesdays at 9. I try to like. I've noticed we got a couple people. They can kind of set they kind of set their clock to it, and I got some regular viewers, and that's what I want. I want enough regular viewers, and if they don't catch it, they go back and they watch. So we got to make sure to clip this up, and I want to thank Ty for being here with me. It's a pleasure when you get free and you're catching me before 9. Like, hey, what's the topics tonight? I'm free. Yes, I'm gonna have him on. When Jeff hits me up, like, yo, send me the link. Yes, I know it's gonna be a good show when I got my guys with me. And want to give thanks to Jeff Miller, David Norton. They were on with me last week, and we had that was actually a hell of a show. The three of us just went on a whole little tangent rant, and we just had a great time. We talked about shit that was on the topic list, but we talked for 3 hours regardless. So it was all geek content. We did really, really well. So I want to thank you guys for being on here with me tonight. Any last thoughts? Anything else you all need to get out before we go? I know that Star Trek is apparently better than Star Wars, so we won't get into that too much more. But
I mean, you said if people can't offer a fact to dispute it, then that means we just have to accept it as the truth, right?
I mean, I have no I can't even dispute that point. I cannot dispute it because it does seem like there's a little bit more tolerance in the Star Trek universe.
I'll put it like this. I can make the case for it being better, but I don't think it needs to be made because the only thing they have in common is they're in outer space. That's about it, in my opinion. Other than that, it's apples and oranges.
So this is one of my classmates who understands that we are definitely trying to have ourselves maybe sit at our desks a little more and not be working the way we work it. And no, it's not Star Wars. It's better. See, now you're the Harry Potter fan, and tomorrow we will talk about Fantastic Beasts because I ended up coming home doing the same thing, watching it with my son. That's what he did yesterday. So that's how I knew it was available. And I'd watched a little bit, but I sat down and watched it. I will, you know what? I think I'm gonna do a whole little research paper, and I'm gonna see if I can make an argument for Star Wars over Star Trek, just so we have something to debate. Inherently, in fairness, I haven't done enough study of Star Trek to be able to say definitively one way or the other. What I recall from it, I can see that they have certain things figured out that Star Wars should have never had problems with, given the technological advancements of Star Wars. But it's just like, it seems like the people are just worse people. And that's really what it comes down to. Star Trek is a much more unified society, whereas Star Wars is a more decisive and, a lot more division there. But I think that's just what makes Star Wars Star Wars. Ty, any last thoughts?
I mean, for those that have been watching us, love having you here. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. And if you have a chance to actually rate, like if this is on a podcast format too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Rate us. Like let's make this go somewhere.
Yeah. Tell us how hot we are.
And helpful.
Tell us how great. And think about it. I like, as a 3-hour show, and we do try to keep it right around the 3-hour mark. You know what you're getting. You know how long it's going to be. You get plenty of great discussion because we have some really intelligent people here. And I got some people that can challenge me in discussions, and it's fantastic. You could listen to this while you're driving. You could listen to this while you're riding around. You don't have to just watch the video. So there's plenty available for you.
Although you do have to watch the video if you want that screenshot.
Yeah. That screenshot is only going to be available where we all made our Jeff face. So that's only going to be, you got to watch the video. But you can do that. And you'll know that it's available. QR code right there in the corner. Like and subscribe. Give us a follow. Stick with us. That's it for me, guys. If you got nothing else, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you all next week. Thanks so much. Peace.
Peace.